Trump, 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 Trump. Everywhere I go, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Trump, 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 Trump. Everywhere I go, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Down in Mexico, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Flew to Italy, they love Donald, Donald Trump. In the Middle East, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Met some Africans, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Even in China, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Man, these Indians, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Trump, 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 Trump. Everywhere I go, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Trump, 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 Trump. Everywhere I go, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Trump, 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 Trump. Everywhere I go, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Down in Mexico, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Flew to Italy, they love Donald, Donald Trump. In the Middle East, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Met some Africans, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Even in China, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Man, these Indians, they love Donald, Donald Trump.
What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that?
That was our new intro, Zed. Do you not like it?
What the fuck was that? Holy shit. That is the...
Right? You know?
You say this now, Zed? You say this now.
Like,
come back in a week. God. You'll be humming it in your head every single morning, every single evening.
Mike, I think your mic is the wrong mic. I think you're picking up
at supper time, when Donald Trump's on a bagel, I can have Donald Trump anytime. That's better lyrics than whatever the fuck I just heard.
There we go.
Jesus, bro. that song, it's one. Look, I've unfortunately had to bear witness to the fucking Tom McDonald's and all that shit and the 504s of my day. But bro, like, I don't know how you make that song and you have the enthusiasm of a guy who just took way too much NyQuil, bro. Just like, hey, you like Donald Trump. Yeah. And the EDM, the DJ's going like fucking hard in the background. Like, what the fuck?
Zed, I wish you were here a couple of weeks ago when I went through all of my favorite right-wing rap songs. Linda Paulson, Anthony Constantino. Maybe we'll have you react later on if we have time, because I would, as a musical expert, I would love to hear your take, because I feel you would like Linda Paulson. You would love Linda Paulson. She's so talented. She's 84 years old now, but she's the best rapper on the right. The
worst thing is there are actual right-wing rappers. As somebody who's battled for most of his life, like, there are actual right-wing rappers who are like actually skillful, and all the ones that got famous are like objectively terrible. Like, it's one thing like where like you're like a rapper and you're coming up and you're like, oh, all mainstream music is stupid, and then you learn actually this is what they're doing. Like, objectively, like the shit that's coming out, like
who's one you could drop, like what an actual competent right-wing rapper.
An actual competent right-wing rapper? I think, I mean, not off the top of my head anymore.
Does it count?
I think a lot of them have shifted. Because Snoop technically. But I think most rappers are just like independent, so they don't like fucking like. I think technically Immortal Technique is on that shit now, which is unfortunate.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Oh, he's the biggest lefty ever. No way. No, that'll depress.
To be honest, here's another one. Like Kanye West before he went crazy was a very good rap, like an incredible producer, right? So he was great. The other thing is there's people who I know who, like, there are people who I have stories about who have like not made their opinions public and aren't really in the public eye anymore. So I don't want to fucking just like out people and start a beef with somebody. But there are well-known rappers in like Atlanta and shit like that who used to hang around Kanye's crew. Who I have a friend who engineered for Yandhi when it was called Yandhi. And he told me about a very well-known underground rapper, super fucking, a lot of his shit's really progressive, a lot of shit's really smart. But then, like, he was like, man, like, people don't, like, and then he just started spouting conspiracies at my friend. And my friend was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here, dude. So there's a lot of that shit there, but it's just kind of bubbling under the surface. Drake is kind of, like, shifting into that gear. after he got his ass beat, and now he's trying to chase the kick streamers and everything like that. So
I mean, when your career starts to decline, you can become a right-wing
Yeah.
grifter and get a little bit of a second wind. But
Yeah. I will say this: 5AO Foreign. I think his music is obviously for purposeful reasons. I think his music is dog shit. But he's actually like doing the game that most like pop artists and artists in rap do, which is like trying to understand the soundscape of what's going on now and cut against it. Tom McDonald is just like a full like grift, and like
Right.
He's a
Dax
Canadian.
is worse.
He's a wrestler. Before.
he is a Canadian.
Dude, it's
Dax is
wild, man. Like, yeah, and it's just like one of those things. Like, it's weird, man. There's like 6 degrees of separation in music when you like get like, because there's so many people doing it that when you get to like some sort of competent level, everyone suddenly knows everybody else, and so like it's one of those things where you're like, where you kind of get what the business model. Like, are you trying to do music, or are you trying to have like a fan club of this kind of thing and just pander to that fan club for a while, and it's just some sort of version of that. And there's a lot of people in the right-wing space who have just done that, and it is a successful business model for them. And so it works. I think also, here's another one. I'm just thinking of it as time goes on. Joyner Lucas he's not right-wing, but he's definitely like kind of teetering on the line of like conservative kind of more.
He comes
more
off
like,
to me as an enlightened centrist.
Yeah, one of those. Like if you're talking about people in like the Joe Rogans of the like probably more left of Joe Rogan, right? But like the like if you're talking about like male podcast chuds, but as rappers, because again, like stand-up comedy, those people who went into that and people going to rap and stand-up comedy have a huge overlap because they're both like observational arts. There's a lot of people who are in that kind of middle lane who have feelings about like, they may not necessarily support Donald Trump, but they don't like the way Democrats are. They have some feeling about like, trans rights and gay rights, which is really shitty that they feel that way. Boozy Badass is one of those people. I think he's a fucking idiot.
Oh, it's actually it's pronounced Bussy Badass.
Bussy Badass.
Yeah. No, I'm serious. That's how he pronounces it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. That's how he pronounces it.
That's how he pronounces it.
It's Bussy Badass, yeah.
Maybe I'm behind on shit.
Since like the 2000s, he's always pronounced it as Bussy Badass.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Are you
positive.
fucking with me or really?
No, I'm serious.
I'm gonna come off like a fucking idiot, bro.
Yes.
What the fuck? Are you serious? Oh my god.
It's Bussy, yeah.
My whole life, you can tell I didn't listen to his shit. My whole life, I was never a fan. I think Lord Jamal is a little bit like that. I think like you know what's crazy? You know who's a famous like groundbreaker for like recognizing black artists and calling out like white supremacy in rap prior to the fucking Obama era?
Ooh.
Fucking Eminem. Eminem went to the Grammys and was like, won a Grammy for rap in his second year and was like super fucking upset. And so he listed off like dozens of black artists who never got fucking black rappers who never got a Grammy, but suddenly he's getting nominated for it. And he was very open about it and about how they fucking play a popularity contest and everything like that, but he has his other issues and shit like that too. So rap is a complicated field with a lot of problematic shit in it.
Art is complicated? What?
Art is complicated and problematic. It is. Cardi B also, somebody mentioned Cardi B. Cardi B has good politics. Cardi B has good politics, but she also has had bad politics in the past as well. She's
a normie leftist.
Nicki Minaj was a very good rapper until, their tragic brain accident. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I real quick. We are in the middle of another election. We got a really big win this week. A couple of big wins with Abdul Zaid, obviously, not to bury the lead. But for those who do not know right now, there is an election underway in the 9th District of Tennessee featuring Justin Pearson. I'm not sure if you all remember him. He was the Tennessee state lawmaker who was ousted by Republicans a couple of years ago. I can't remember the reason why. I think they led a protest for a particular piece of legislation, and then they used that as a justification to oust them. They came back, and now he's running for Congress officially, and I have the results pulled up right now, and guess what? We might have another win under our belts.
Holy shit! Well, no, it's only 9% reporting.
It's just 9%. So, that lead can vanish. It's just a couple thousand, but really good showing. A lot of these other candidates, I looked them up. There's not a lot of information about them, not really a social media profile. So I'm not sure if they're good. I can't speak to them. All I know is that Justin is really, really good. He supports Medicare for all. He wants to cut off the weapons to Israel. Very standard, progressive, as far as I know. I haven't seen any red flags. Seems like a really good organizer, good fighter. So if he is able to maintain this lead, which we'll kind of check back on throughout the night, we have another victory under our belts. So, I don't know if I can... Oh, I don't want to do that.
So you're sharing it
there we go. Yeah. There we go. I'm trying to make it so that way we can kind of... It doesn't need to be that big.
Oh, this is nice.
I live streamed that election on the Michigan election. That shit was so fucking stressful, dude.
Oh, I can't do it.
Yeah, I was because I was like, you know what, like I need to stream more. Fuck it, let's just. And I told my girlfriend, like, listen, I'm just gonna stream on Tuesday. Just take the night off. I'm gonna do it. And then like I got on, and again, like we've had like wins where we've known within like 20 minutes what's going on, right? But like, yeah, it was like because I think so much about that race is so important to talk about, because it's not just the result that came out or with it or the money that was spent. Like the results throughout the night and the way the night went kind of showed a lot of like how bad the money in politics is and where people stand, but obviously how like poisonous that process was for everything, dude. Because you would see Al-Sayed jump up to like crazy numbers, and I would see the NBC chat go fucking nuts, like, oh, Israel's not in your dreams anymore, so Dem social, and then people just sprouting off what needs to happen. And then as soon as it would get close, because of all the shit talk, Stephen supporters would immediately just start slandering, getting really aggressive, right? And it just kept that aggressive pace throughout the night. And I feel like the consultants dude, Twitter made this such a fucked up race, because obviously you have the optics of like genocide versus an embargo or a ban on arms to Israel, right? You already have that there. You have centrists like coalescing around like Haley Stevens and shit like that. That's one thing, but I think the entirety of how Twitter discourse, because all of the fucking all news media just kind of exists and uses Twitter as like a WeWork. It's so bad, dude. It was so dishonest. People like Neera Tanden, people like fucking Magdi Jacobs, like all of these crazy accounts flooding this platform. And then also the ops they did on TikTok. You saw those TikTok. You've seen those TikToks that popped up of like, oh, I'm a suburban mom, that started like months ago and shit like that. Right. Everybody can catch it, and it's just like it's so blatantly dishonest.
Haley Stevens is growing on me. All of a sudden, like 100 people tweet in unison. It's very
a little enthusiasm, a little
yeah, bro.
Yeah,
but I feel like that's such a and look, I'm not gonna say, and I try to be honest about stuff. I'm not gonna act like like we on the left don't have our own like bubble. We obviously have a bubble. Obviously the polls were not. It was not a 14+ race, right?
Yeah.
And anybody who's
closer to a 3. To be fair.
Yeah, closer to a 3. But even
while people have been saying polling is pretty like archaic in those regions, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
This was a case where it wasn't phone polling; it was online polling, wasn't it? Like this was a case where
it was internal polling. That was the biggest issue. Okay. Was like what happened was Stevens. It was a huge. It was both campaign. Like Al-Sayed's getting hammered because he responded with like 5 or 6 of them, which was really fucking stupid of him to do, by the way. But like Stevens, what she did was she released right after McMurrow dropped and she became the sole kind of the runoff with him. She touted a Glenn Gariff poll and then one other poll, one that had her like within spitting distance and one that had her up 8. And the Glenn Gariff poll very specifically was a poll that had a huge house effect towards her, like the whole cycle. Like, even when it was a 3-point race, like, it was stupidly towards her. And so like you had that, and then so El Sayed is like, okay, well, I guess we're doing the polling game, which is a stupid thing to do. Anybody who like any election expert will tell you, don't ever try to play the poll game of like, I have this poll and I have this poll. So he released all of his internals, and internal polls are notoriously bad. They are notoriously overestimating you, and so you have to weight them. But he released them. And obviously, like he was trying to, and obviously you had all these people being, oh, Haley Stevens has no path to victory, and that made if we would have been a point off, dude, it would have been a very toxic environment, right, that we're walking into, and versus the environment now where the reasonable people are trying to come together and the Twitter bots are still trying to play fucking politics online.
There's also a theory that, and there's, as far as I know, a little bit of data to back this up, that since Michigan is an open primary state, and since Mike Rogers basically had the GOP nomination on lockdown, that some Republicans crossed the aisle to vote for Stevens, possibly to elevate her as a sort of Pied Piper because they felt like she'd be easier to beat. I don't know if there is like a sufficient enough evidence. It's one theory. But that is something that I think is also a little bit compelling, because just like strategically speaking, if I know that my guy is going to win, then I might want to cross the aisle and vote for the weaker candidate myself. Because if you could do that, I mean, you have one vote, right? So why not use it elsewhere? So that's one possibility as well. But here's the thing about polling. As you said, it is, especially internal polling, not necessarily the most reliable. And really, you have to look at polls in the aggregate. If you look at the aggregate polls with Abdul Sayed, it showed he had like a 10-point lead. People were projecting like a double-digit win. But even if you see that, like whenever you see a poll for a leftist, just subtract 10 points. That's the way that you have to operate mentally. Because not like literally, that doesn't mean they're going to lose, but you just have to pretend as if you always are the underdog.
It was like the Saran campaign, like you're 15 points behind always.
Exactly.
Right? That's exactly. What you have to do, because that's what you're up against. I can't I don't know what the number is yet, but wasn't it like, $45 million worth of spending? Then I heard $60 million, $70 million.
It was over 60.
Okay, so that's it was still 9-1 no matter what, right? A 9-1 spend means everyone,
which is enormous.
Gen X. Yeah, which is enormous, and it's Gen X and above. That's their ads. That's the radio. That's TV. That's like, so their brains are all poisoned at that point.
And I think people need to also understand a couple hard lessons from this thing, and that like that not all like. And again, I'm not trying to, you got to give it to the centrists, but I'm just trying to be realistic about who your enemies are versus who are your friends, right? Or who are just people who are just, who are the ideologues and who are the grifters, right? Nate Silver is an infamous centrist contrarian, right? He is the infamous guy who shit talks Bernie and is constantly contrarian about, oh my God, Rebecca, I have not seen you in years. How are you?
I'm good. Let me get my real mic. I'll be right there.
Okay.
You have the best shirt ever. I love that movie.
She always has good shirts.
Yeah, she has the best shirts. I just have this weird Levi shirt. But like I was saying, like every single time, like we've talked about Nate Silver. He has his whole like the river and he's an enlightened centrist, right? But Nate Silver is just a contrarian against narratives. Here, when this happened, he didn't fucking try to spin the shit that people on X, he was very clear. Like, look, progressives. He beat a 9-1 odd race. He called it like it is, and it's crazy that we have to give credit there, but so many people are not fucking calling out what's going on. It was beating that is a monumental thing, and it is a monumental proof. Like progressive, like these issues work, right? The other thing that I mentioned this on my stream and my stress-filled like tenseness of that, right? Bro, like we've talked about it on the Graham Plattner episode. We talked about it like every other time, but I feel like there's a lot of the left that talks at black people and does not listen to black people, right? They're like we don't like engage black people in a way that is meaningful, and we still treat them like monoliths. And it is crazy to me because obviously I feel like a lot of the policies for Al Sayed are much better for African Americans, but I'm an Indian Pakistani guy who raps. That doesn't make me black, right? And so having to have that conversation and actually listen and engage with that community in a better way than we have needs to be a thing, right? So that the argument that like, oh, the leftists are just a bunch of white elitist people just falls flat on its face, right? Because the result he underperformed with black voters, right? And it wasn't just like older black voters, right? He did way better amongst younger ones, but like, you know, those numbers, we should not be like ignoring. I don't know. I feel like there's still more work to be done with engaging with the black community in a way that I feel like the left just has not done in a way that is.
I mean, to be fair, is that it's been
sense?
a weakness for the left for a long time. Bernie 2016, Bernie 2020. There were some improvements in 2020, but it still is. Part of the problem is that like Bernie was from a very white state of Vermont, so he didn't have any inroads in the community. And when he talked about black issues, he sounded like he did not know what he was talking about. It was like a deer in headlights. So it's been a long time problem. But yeah, I think that you're right. There needs to be. Like, I'm not taking anything away from Abdul al-Sayed. What he pulled off was absolutely monumental. But, like, even when we win, I think we should try to learn lessons because going forward, it's only going to get more difficult for the left. And I made a video that comes out tomorrow talking about how now that we have wins in battleground states like Michigan and potentially Wisconsin if Francesca Hong wins, the third way wing of the Democratic Party, they're trying to sabotage these races specifically because if the left can get across the finish line in these races, what does that mean for 2028? It means that this argument that they're going to use against AOC or Ro Khanna that, oh, these ideas are too extreme to win in battleground states, that argument gets taken away from them. So if they can snuff out this baby in the crib, then they could help a moderate, like, maintain a lead, a sizable lead in 2028. But if El-Sayed ends up beating Rogers, if Francesca Hong wins the nominee and she ends up becoming the governor in Wisconsin, and in 2028, like, what does that mean? It means that there's going to be a lot of momentum for the left going forward. So we're about to see some, like, rat fuckery and shenanigans and subterfuge like we've never seen before. And my entire video tomorrow is about that. Because, like, they're not just going to let us steamroll them and be like, well, shucks, we'll have to get better and run some better candidates. Like, they're going to engage in a lot of really dirty tricks to make sure that we don't win. So anytime we win, we need to look at the weaknesses, even if we had a strong performance, and try to improve there. And I think that you're right about engaging particular communities, engaging communities in rural areas, and also not taking television ads for granted. I think that's something that the left needs to refocus on. Yes, TV isn't the way that most people get their information anymore, but it's still significant. And a lot of these older voters in the Democratic Party, they are going to get your message disproportionately through the television. So you've got to invest in advertising. Part of it, like one trend that's pretty consistent with leftist candidates is that it's always a demographic difference. Younger people skew towards the left, including younger black voters and younger Latino voters, and older people skew towards the center. And part of that is because of the differences in where they get their information. So if these leftist candidates are not reaching out to people in these traditional spaces like TV, I think that's a little bit of a missed opportunity. Now, I can't really speak to El-Sayed's game when it comes to, TV advertisements and radio advertisements. I know his ground game was very good, but, just little things that we could tweak to be stronger because, every single election should be a learning opportunity. And just real quick, I want to give you all an update about the Pearson race. Pearson's lead is growing with 15%, or not growing, but he's sustaining his lead with 15% of precincts in. And
we also
really
have some
encouraging.
Good news. Apparently, as of now, Mitch McConnell is legally dead.
Really?
So, just based on the amount of time that he has not been heard from, this is the length of time that you would be medically dead if you were in a coma this long. So,
oh, wow.
You said dead? You said he dead?
Well, I'm just saying mathematically he should be dead. So technically,
I mean, he should.
Didn't he come from the rehab? That's the last breaking news that I saw earlier today.
Oh no, was he out?
That's what they said. They said he, they reported that he came out of rehab.
Wait, but there's no footage.
And he's going to his house to recover with family and friends. And that was the last time.
Did you look like he was being puppeteered by like 3 people? Or
why is there no footage of it?
I
By
don't
the
know.
way, you guys
I
want
was
some
working at
crazy
the time,
news?
so it was breaking news. I didn't go really into.
Okay. There's no video of it. It's just Mitch McConnell says he's been discharged from the rehab center
Yeah.
and will continue recovery at home. Okay, well then why can't we see you? What the fuck? You're like one of the you're one of the most famous people in the country, dude.
Yeah.
What do you fucking think you're?
Hey, Ariana.
Is there another? Yeah. Hi, Ariana.
By the way,
Hi, Ariana.
some breaking news here for everybody with regard to the Tennessee election. So Andy Ogles, fascist Republican, is currently losing with
Let's fucking
36% of precincts reporting to
Let's
Charlie
fucking
Hatcher.
go.
I don't know anything about Charlie. Let me do a quick little search. I don't know if he's the more sane sane Republican.
Yeah.
If he's less
Relatively.
psychotic, I guess is the best way. Let me
how's
see.
Justin Pearson doing? Is that his name?
Let me
Pretty
show you.
good.
He's
He's
doing
leading right
very,
now.
very good so far.
He's leading right now.
Okay,
He's-
good.
Yeah, 40 points up, 15% in.
Good.
Yeah, looking good for Justin Pearson so far. I'll leave that up on the screen for now. Let me check on this Charlie Hatcher. It would be so funny if like this fascist lost.
Bro, Andy Ogles is so fucking like that guy. I like people were freaking out at the beginning of the year, like or the beginning of like 2025, because like he has like a history of just like every year he'll release like a super performative bill, and like like Andy Ogles like introduces bill to stab Muslim people or some shit like that. He'll do something crazy and then just be like, we need to do it to try to gin up votes. And it's just so beautiful to me. Just the chef's kiss that he's getting his ass kicked in a fucking primary after his strategy. He's just doubled in on this strategy over the last year. Like, I'm going to deport Mamdani, Yeah, get your ass beat, bro.
Inshallah. Although, we don't know much about Charlie Hatcher. I went to his website. I know enough based on this to say I hope he beats Andy Ogles. All we really know is that he's a farmer, and he just says that he's a fifth-generation Tennessee dairy farmer. He's an author, a Christian, and a family man, and he thinks that Trump would have been a fantastic farmer.
This is
Let's do
Tennessee,
it.
right?
Wait. I'm pretty sure. Okay, if this is his fucking caption, he probably has some funny ass advertisements for his campaign. Can we look?
Let me press play. There's a video here. Do we want to watch this?
It has
Let's
to be
see.
like these motherfuckers have the
On
funniest
on-
campaign videos on earth.
On Ballotopedia, it says it's Tennessee's fifth, right?
Tennessee's fifth, yes.
Yeah, Dr. Charlie Hatcher has over 20 years in veterinary practice and a decade in as Tennessee's state veterinarian. He has held national leadership roles, including past president of American Association of Bovine Practice. He's a farmer guy.
Okay, well, this ad is 3 minutes and 45 seconds for some reason. We don't have to watch all of it, but I would like to know
There's
who
some
this
sort
guy
of
is.
feedback coming in. Do you guys hear that?
I do hear that. Let me see if I can... I don't know where that's coming from.
Feedback on the
It's probably
Leftist Audio
mine.
podcast.
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's better
Let me
now.
press play on this video. I'm morbidly curious.
You need something done that takes from dawn to long past dusk? Hire a farmer. You need someone you can trust just by the look in their eye.
The video got smaller
Look
when I
in the eye
enlarged it.
of a farmer. Someone who can stretch a dollar far as the eye can see.
I already
Who
like
knows
this.
ups and downs.
It's actually pretty good.
Stays steady throughout.
I'm a farmer.
Yep. Find you a farmer. Some of the best
You need-
live right here in Tennessee. Farmers like Charlie Hatcher. What a life. Fifth generation conservative Tennessee dairy farmer. Started up 8 businesses from scratch to feed his family. Most of whom still live and work on that same farm along with Charlie's grandkids. Their
Very
church,
Tennessee.
right down the road. Maybe you've heard of Hatcher Family Dairy's milk. That's Charlie and his son. The Hatcher Family Dairy TV show. Charlie and his crew.
TV show.
This is a
Tennessee's
TV show?
super successful agriculture commissioner for almost 7 years. Charlie Hatcher. former member of the UT Board of Trustees, Charlie. Oh, and did I mention he's a doctor, livestock veterinarian, and his daughter Jennifer has followed in his footsteps. So this doctor,
Can I just pause it really quick to point out that we're almost 2 minutes in and he hasn't like demonized an immigrant or a trans person yet?
Yeah,
I'm sure he hates them.
Really good.
He talked about himself.
Yeah.
His success.
It's very Morning in America 80s coded.
Very,
you notice that? Very like Bush Senior.
TV show, so he's a television star. He's a doctor, a veterinarian. His granddaughter, or his daughter, excuse me, is taken after him. He's, 8 generations of farming.
Right.
From, bootstraps type of vibe. This old truck, is given racism. So even though he hasn't mentioned
that truck is 100% painted.
It's
I don't
just
believe for a fucking
up,
second. Yeah.
Looking for black folks, looking for people who is just in the street. That's what it
Maybe
is.
we'll get to that in this ad. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop.
That's the truck from Mississippi Burning. Sorry.
This is like pre-Trump Republican. This is like
This is vintage.
This is like Republican where like they would stand up for Barack Obama if they called him Hussein. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the. Yeah. I'm not saying he would do that. I'm just saying it's kind of going for that old timer conservative rather than like MAGA conservative. You know what I mean?
You're not saying he would do that, but
the messaging is like Carter type of. You know what I mean?
He's not your racist uncle. He's your fun racist.
I feel like,
uncle.
to me, from my perspective, he'd be like, I don't have any problem with you if you're gay. I don't want to see that shit around here. I'll beat your ass, but I don't have a problem with you. Like, he'd be one of those people.
Yeah.
But by the way, terrible accent. I apologize to all of our Southern.
No, that was good. It was good. You were getting into it. I think while you were owning it a little after the first 2 seconds, and then I started to believe it a little bit.
Okay, that's a really high compliment. Thank you. Well, let's see where this goes, because so far, I like him more than Andy Ogles, which is a very, very low bar, mind you, but, he's crushing it.
Ag commissioner, business leader, author, father, husband, grandpa. Just didn't have enough to do.
I think there's something missing in Washington. There's a lack of farmer common sense there. There's a lack of work ethic. Trump would have been a fantastic farmer. And he works like a farmer. He's getting things done in the short amount of time that he's been there. The strong work ethic and the values that we learn from the farm and the day-to-day activities and taking care of the animals and what's necessary for the farm to survive, it shapes the character of a person. I mean, we face adversities every single day. So one of my strengths is a problem solver, looking for solutions, looking for collaboration, and support the Trump administration and Speaker Johnson on their agenda.
I think our beliefs,
that was a Southern twang if I've ever heard one.
Is maybe what the world needs right now.
You can tell you're not.
I feel like she's gonna say a slur at any minute.
You're not trying to be anybody. You have a history of being able to see an issue, tackle an issue, and you really don't have to burden other people because you just need the job.
He's supposed to be the fine grandson.
We can use more of that.
Charlie Hatcher has climbed many mountains, flows many streams to make our state better.
So Kowalski said in my chat, which by the way, he's been silent this whole time. I'm wondering what he's thinking. He said farming would kill Trump in 45 seconds.
Period. Somebody said Trump would never be a good farmer because he's lazy as hell. And I concur.
Yeah, that's the most absurd statement he's made. Trump doesn't want to do manual labor. Are you joking? Like,
and
physical activity.
We're how much into this video, and he still hasn't mentioned what policies, anything. He hasn't mentioned what he can do. Healthcare, nothing.
Right.
Nothing.
Hey. Well, to be fair, I didn't expect any policies from him, but I'm still pleasantly surprised that aside from the support for fascism, Donald Trump, he's not saying anything about a particular minority group, which does, like you both were saying, it kind of is like
45 seconds left.
Do you guys like
That's
milk?
true.
Do you guys drink milk?
Doing good out here.
Do you guys drink milk?
No, not with this tummy.
Have you guys seen that Georgia?
He made that milk.
nominees? That guy who's running for Georgia governor as a Republican, his fucking ads are diabolical.
I see them here.
They're all over Georgia.
Them all the time when I'm trying to watch my little shows because
they're
I ain't
so
paying.
funny. Wait, what's his name again? I forgot his name.
So I get the odds. What's his name? And he is rude. Like he talks about.
No, he's really bad. Like
he's talking about rounding up immigrants. He's talking about all of the things that he says in
the Mongolian Muslims taking over Georgia.
The Mongolian Muslims is crazy.
It's disgusting.
Mongolian Muslims is crazy.
Wow.
Wait, what is his name? I need to find these videos.
I've never heard of this guy. By the way, just an update on the election. Andy Ogles is closing in on him. 53% of precincts reporting so far. Still holding strong. Check in on Justin Pearson as well, 22% in. He is still around the same number. So looking pretty good.
I mean, Ogles is underperforming in a lot of these counties with 53% of the vote in.
I would love to see Andy Ogles lose this election. By the way, his daughter is running for Congress, and she said on a podcast that women should not be in leadership positions or run for Congress. And then what does she do? She announces that she's running for Congress. So the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But I just,
every day.
This potential political dynasty needs to be snuffed out in the crib because I don't want to see Ogles anymore. Like this dude, I can't remember if it was him or another one that posted the Attack on Titan video of AOC as like a fucking
Ogles.
Titan. Was it Ogles? Okay,
I think
yeah.
it was Ogles.
Basically, it was like showing an anime of a Titan getting assassinated, but he said this is AOC. It was really fucked up. Do we want to finish the 45 seconds just to see?
Yeah,
if
I want to
he says
hear.
anything?
Let me hear. We already
I'm
started.
Curious.
We're here.
Because as you said, Rebecca, 45 seconds is an eternity in an ad.
You can put some. It is, but it could be something in there.
Yeah, he could say something.
He might give us nothing, but let's see.
So far, the vibe is not.
It's just farming. It's just basically his biography. I feel like he's.
Yeah. Is this video in 720p too? It's like it's very artifacty.
All videos are in 720p for campaigns for some reason, or 480. It just depends.
This guy definitely did not pay his videographer.
That leadership, humility, intelligence, strength, and common sense, any more than DC. Charlie Hatcher is Tennessee, not DC. He's sort of the ultimate outsider.
I mean, what you see with me is what you get.
You have a problem that seems insurmountable.
Clearly.
And you can't even fathom finding a cure. Hire a farmer.
I'm a political outsider, but I feel like I'm being led to do it, and I can't say no to
Trump
that.
is the first thing.
Pro-life, pro-family, pro-Trump.
I love how they had to like hire a farmer and they had to put in the chicken sound effect.
You hear it?
We gotta get that. We gotta get that shit in there. Yeah.
Not bad. I will say. And this is gonna be a nail biter. Andy Ogles is probably squeezing his cheeks right now. Rebecca,
he had an 80%. He had an 80% chance of winning earlier today, and then it went down to 73. So he's in a little bit of trouble.
Okay, you know what?
This is him, Rick Johnson, and you will see his ads all over town, and it's just his ads are crazy, diabolical.
I've never seen this, so
ads diabolical.
Let me put y'all on to Rick Jackson because this is a treat.
Oh my God.
Oof.
I don't care if you're Muslim or Mongolian. You don't have the right to force your culture on our country.
This fucking guy.
Conservative Rick Jackson.
Too often, criminal illegals commit sick, violent crimes.
I have to watch
victimize our
to
children
get to my shows,
and get away with murder. So here's my guarantee to them. Do that when I'm governor, and you'll end up deported or departed.
Rick Jackson
what
for
the fuck?
Any questions?
I actually do have so many questions, sir.
Whoa! What is with the Teddy with the what's it like David Pumpkins fucking like ending of his thing there. Also, he has a widow's peak that would make Vegeta blush. Oh my God!
Listen, I have a widow's peak, and I love Vegeta's hairline growing up because we have the same hairline. Now here, absolutely, he wants to hold on. Yeah, I love me a Vegeta.
You make it
hairline.
look good
I
though.
always love Vegeta because we got the same hairline.
Oh, you can't dislike it.
But
Vegeta's
yes, this, he wants to hold on to an Elvis haircut. That's what it's given. He wants to hold on to that look. But out here, I mean, he's infiltrated every corner of town. They've here where I live, even though it's predominantly white and it's very conservative, there are a lot of progressive people out here who I watch will take his signs and like throw them. Like they'll be masked in the 2:00. You riding down the street, masked folks will just like hop out of a car, take the sign and throw it out, and they'll put the signs back. The signs are huge everywhere, in the corner of nowhere, in the city, everywhere. This man is literally like,
the vibes are so demonic.
Yes, they are. Any video, any commercial.
Can I watch this
ad.
Christmas one?
So wait. Okay, so that Christmas one is he AI generates himself as a kid. Anyways, whatever. So
what?
Yeah.
What?
Yes, that's like him as an AI generated kid, like telling his childhood story.
Play now.
But like, listen. No, he has this whole AI generated like video on his childhood and all of that stuff. Anyways, so we need to talk about his come up because it's actually crazy. So he used to be a healthcare executive. Made a fortune.
Just like Rick Scott.
Yeah, being a healthcare executive. And then from that money, he self-funded his own campaign by the multi-million. So everything you're seeing, all of the ads, all of the people that he has working on his campaign is literally from his own self-funded millions that he has. It's not even putting a dent in his money because he has so much money, like he's a multimillionaire. But even Republican analysts themselves in Georgia, they were like, we don't know where the fuck he came from and we don't know how the fuck to get rid of him. Like he has literally dominated every single corner of Georgia. And the last time I checked his polls, he's leading the polls. So undecided is more, but he's right after undecided. That was the last time I checked his polls. But his whole story is just fucking insane because he's basically this healthcare executive with a bunch of money that just came out of nowhere and was like, I'm going to spew all this shit and I'm going to run for governor. And that's honestly truly where this country has gotten to. You know what I mean?
Let's see what this
he's behind Keisha Lance Bottoms by 7 right now.
Yeah, because Keisha Lance Bottoms has been, I'm not going to lie, a lot of people have a lot of thoughts about her. However, in this particular case, a lot of people have been coming out. So hopefully she does win. She used to be the mayor of Atlanta. And now we have Andrew. So like she is the pick, even though she's had a questionable history. But right now we're focused on not having somebody like Rick Jackson in place. So
is it her or Rick Jackson? Like, isn't the
it's her or Rick Jackson?
Yeah, so
they're the major. Yeah.
Yeah.
with leaners right now, it's 40. In a poll right now, she's at 50. He's at 43, and then with lean people leaning, she's at 51. He's at 44.
Okay.
That's the
so we're
poll.
hoping. Really, I'm pushing for Keisha. So
it's so annoying that it's like you get mad at Democrats because it's like, God, Keisha supported fucking Cop City, and then this demon comes along and it's like, okay, I guess she's better than literal Satan.
Bro, I got Gavin Newsom in my state, dude. I have American Psycho. Like, California politics is literally just filled with like, hey, listen, we have probably one of the most liberal electorates if you don't go out to the boonies you can possibly get. Also, we elect insane people all of the time. I would love for Nithya Raman to win and everything like that, but like we're probably gonna have Javier Becerra as governor, which I mean I'm glad it's not
Nithya is
Hilton.
mayor of LA though, right? Those are two different races.
No, yeah, but I'm saying like the two big races people were watching were Nithya and then the governor's race, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the governor's race, like we're probably gonna have Javier versus I also thought his name was Xavier for a second. I was like, that's a great name. But like we're probably gonna have Javier like there, but he's a Chevron guy, which is fucking awful.
He's a downgrade from Gavin Newsom, seemingly, somehow. And even a lot of establishment Democrats were shocked that he was rising in the polls after Swalwell dropped out.
I mean, Swalwell was bad, dude. I fucking did not like Swalwell. That guy was even before even before the things like that came out about him, he was a gross motherfucker.
He was a racist, Islamophobic piece of shit, and just an establishment toady.
Yeah, and then also like even the alternative to Becerra was Steyer, which like is
I didn't hate Steyer. I will say I didn't hate Steyer.
I didn't hate him, but like I it's hard to trust him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's a billionaire.
Like,
I know it's hard to trust him, but like Becerra has the proof is that right there that he is in and, like, big money pocket.
For sure.
But with Steyer, I was like, all right, like at least there's a chance for this guy to go in and be good. You know what I mean? If I had to pick between the two, I would have gone with a lot of my mutuals also endorse Steyer for that reason.
I went with Steyer. I voted for Steyer, and I voted for Steyer, and I voted for Rahman. I'm glad that Rahman edged out Spencer Pratt. That was because in my I was very happy about that. You know, but like dude, like California politics has always been like a shit show. You know, in terms of like who we have. Like Kevin McCarthy comes from this state. Just a bunch of like chuds a lot of the time who get into politics, because keep in mind a lot of politicians are like failed actors or failed people who they just want attention, and so
or
if you're
successful
in California,
actors like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was the governor of California, and Ronald Reagan.
He was bro. That's what I'm saying. You can't like if we're talking about crazy elections, we elected like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like we fully knew like this is an insane decision we're all making, and we all made that decision, and it was bad in some ways, but it was also, he also like did defend the state when we needed wildfire help, like was really helpful in that. But like, he also fucked us up in a lot of deficits too. So I don't know, man.
Yeah,
like, we have a weird politics in this state.
Well, let's look at this ad from Rick Jackson of him as an AI generated child.
I spent Christmas Eve alone in a children's home. When I woke up, a good
This is his
Samaritan
villain
had
origin
left
story.
me $100. Unlike career politicians, I know how some extra money can change everything. That's why I'll freeze your property taxes and slash the income tax in half.
Rick Jackson, not a career politician.
I'll get you a boatload of your money back, or I won't run again.
Yeah, right.
I'll get you a boatload of your money back.
Or I won't run again.
He's bribing.
There's one that's completely AI generated of his childhood, and it's insane. Yeah, I think it's Forgotten No More. Yeah.
Oh my god,
it's crazy.
I want to see
the
one
he
he
made his own
posted.
podcast. Did you see that?
No.
He made his own podcast. The video before that is like him in a podcast chair.
Oh god, I'll check that one out too.
Yeah.
There's a
What is that baby with no arms?
My father
No,
didn't
what's
leave me
happening
when I
here?
was 9 months old. My mother was an alcoholic. I had 7 stepfathers by the time I was 12. She got drunk again, and I told my uncle,
quite the
I'm
story.
not
Your
doing
mama
this,
was
I'm going to run away. When you
Now you call his
live like
mama a
I
hoe.
did, you don't have food on the table. You don't forget that. And you don't forget the people that struggle.
Did he
I'm
call
the
his
only
mama a hoe?
candidate in this race
He
who
did, in
doesn't owe a
fact.
thing to the political establishment.
Rick Jackson's not full of crap like some of the other politicians.
I think he's the man of his word.
Georgia
Oh my
families are getting squeezed. Groceries cost more, rent costs more, healthcare costs more, and property taxes are completely out of control.
I support Mr. Jackson because I believe in what he says.
Like Trump, Rick doesn't back down.
As governor, my mission is simple. Make Georgia the most affordable state in America.
The insiders hate him, and I'm all in on that.
There's no BS about him.
I'll spend whatever it
No
takes
BS
to win
about
this
him.
race. Take away their power, give it back where it belongs to the people of Georgia, especially the hardworking men and women who have been forgotten and left in the shadows
literally
for
all
too
AI.
long,
The
just like I
hardworking
was.
men and women. We didn't.
Because
Listen, we didn't
like,
wanna
where is he
hire
gonna
any-
find? Where is he gonna find a real black person? Like, of course, it has to be AI generated.
He
Come
had
on,
one in there.
so for
But
real.
my thing is, he's saying all this stuff, and they're saying like he's a hard worker. He's a man of his word, just like Trump. But Trump has been president, and under his presidency so far, a lot of things went up. So the blame, if they want, so to speak, you wouldn't want somebody who's going to come into your state and do the same thing. Now, our governor now, Brian Kemp, is exactly who Rick Jackson. Is that his name, Rick? That's who Mr. Jackson claims, to be as well. We have that already. So if that is happening under a Trump supporter that we have now, Brian Kemp, who has done a lot of terrible racist things in this state, this is what we're going to get again. And you see how he doesn't really mention the current governor and the state of Georgia now. But I want to see what he says about, is that Keisha Lance Bottoms
looks
up there?
like there's
that
two
legacy
attack
post?
ads. Yeah. Do you want to watch this one first?
I want to see what he says about her.
Story? Was that part true? Was he like a rags to riches success story? Came from poverty, made it on his own?
Probably not.
I assume not, but that's
so
the
on the
typical
ad
story
that he has for her that says "Never Again," it's only 1,000, almost 2,000 views on that one. The rest are like millions of views. I wonder why.
Wow.
I don't want to switch the subject, but Andy.
When Keisha Lance Bottoms got elected, she said,
"Is he really? Okay,
he's in real trouble.
Just real quick,
the vote is at 64. He has gone up. A couple.
Oh wow, our farmer might win. Okay.
Yeah, he extended the lead extended to
Armstrong.
5.4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Good news. All right, so here is the legacy ad.
When Keisha Lance Bottoms got elected, she said,
"We must be good stewards of your tax dollars."
Just 30 days later,
taxpayers covered the cost of a first-class plane ticket for Mayor Bottoms' husband to fly to the Super Bowl.
Worse,
$11,000 in luxury chauffeured car service tabs in just her first 5 months in office.
If Mayor Bottoms wants her legacy to be "we're too greedy to care," then they're off to a great start.
Keisha Lance Bottoms, she's out for herself, not Georgia.
That is so like that. Give us more. Like,
okay, let's see. This is the one that bombed, seemingly.
Yeah, the one that bombed.
2K.
1.8K.
Democrat Keisha Lance Bottoms. She wants to build on her time as Atlanta mayor.
A short tenure, but one filled with challenges and pitfalls.
I eliminated cash bail bonds. We ended our relationship with ICE. That leads us to where we are today.
Clueless and out of touch.
The theatrics of appearing to be tough on crime.
I'm in favor of us reimagining policing.
This is not a plan that I just pulled out of the sky.
Salivating at the perks of power.
You're signing a stack of contracts like this worth hundreds of millions of dollars, so it can't be tempting, not be honest brokers. I don't think you should be a broke politician.
Fined for flagrant violations.
The State Ethics Commission has fined Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms $37,000 for violating campaign finance laws.
That the State Ethics Commissioner is investigating their campaign disclosures.
I'm not quite sure where you expect us to draw the line on that.
All the way to California.
Gavin Newsom, I love what he's
doing.
My God. I think that he is
They're
brilliant.
with
We need people to understand this moment and are going to meet this moment head on, and that is you.
Mayor Bottoms, her decision to undermine economic growth is devastating.
Hosting drag queen story time. Endangering girls' sports.
Decisions regarding who competes and how people compete shouldn't be happening.
So you would have vetoed it?
Yes.
If she doesn't trust Georgians,
got a lot of irresponsible gun owners.
How can Georgians trust her for governor?
Look at what I've done.
Atlanta did face a surge in violent crime, police walkouts, and national scrutiny when you were the mayor. How stressful was that time for you?
On a scale from 1 to 10, a 10.
Yes, because that was in the middle of all that stuff happening in 2020.
Called upon, it looks like to do the same thing.
If you're a mayor and it's not a stressful job,
it's what
why are you mayor?
We really have to be very diligent and very intentional about making sure that we don't find ourselves in this position again.
Mind you, I'm not saying that she was perfect, but this is what they're choosing, and they thought that Republicans would eat this up, and baby, they just bypassed it. They literally, because this wasn't the one, because they literally were reaching, like I said, with dinosaur arms. And here we are. I'm like, all of these people who are running, especially these people who just paid for their positions to be able to run. I hate that it's so easy for them to be able to do so, but they don't have any real substance. They're not really running on anything with strength. We're hearing a lot of the talking points from the past, but a lot like Brian Kemp is exactly what Rick Jackson is saying that he wants to be. We already have that. That's no change. We already have somebody who is Trump's do-boy here, who runs it just like what's his name over there in Florida. And so, all of these people do exactly the same exact things. This guy, he's saying that he will also rent a penthouse on Trump's ball sack. That's nothing different than what we've seen. So, like, right. You know what I mean? So, but that ad, clearly they don't have anything much to go off of to really say that this is why you should vote for me. It's just more so I'm Republican, I'm pro-Trump, vote for me.
Yeah.
Same old shit. Old shit.
I have some breaking news, everybody.
Yeah,
we have
I'm saying it too.
We have some calls in the race of Tennessee's 9th congressional district. It has been called for Justin Pearson, folks. We just racked up another victory. Yeah. He just won.
Yeah.
Okay, I was trying to play some music to celebrate.
I don't know what the fuck
this is.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Oh, here we go. We did it, everybody.
Oh, yeah. That Envato.
You know what? Fuck it.
Oh, no.
This is what we need.
Trump, 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 Trump. Everywhere I go, they love Donald, Donald Trump. Trump, 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 Trump. Everywhere I go, they love Donald, Donald Trump.
Okay, so he's probably going to be speaking soon. I won't torture you all with that, or I won't torture Zed with that, because he's the only person who hates it.
Yeah, but Ogles is in real trouble though. Seriously, like I don't know.
I'm looking at this race. 70%.
Yeah,
he might lose.
Is he a Nazi?
He's down.
He's a Nazi. He does.
Yeah,
Nazis.
He's
bad,
a Nazi.
Dude.
Yeah, he's basically a Nazi for all intents and purposes. Right. Yeah.
He's down 5. I think I don't know what else is left in like from what I'm seeing, like the projected vote count out for Ogles has like I think I don't know if there's enough votes left for him to kind of jump on that. Yeah, dude, look at the results by county. Hatcher is up 8, 3, 20, 23. All of the counties with vote left. Right, the counties with the percentage of vote. Hold on, let's see. Yeah, dude, like the counties with the most percentage of vote left, or that are in, yeah, like it's Hatcher by like 12 to 20. It's kind of a whooping.
We might get a call soon here. It's close, right? But this is not going in Ogles' direction.
Ooh, and he increased it because his lead was 5 up when you see that representative primary Hatcher plus 6, it was 5 before. Now it's 6.
Wow.
So he went up. Yeah,
we might get a farmer to Congress. Kowalski is probably really excited. This is his moment right now.
Yeah.
Farmers are getting representation in Congress. I love that.
Hell yeah.
So let me see. There should be a live stream from Justin Pearson. I would imagine he's going to speak to people at his campaign headquarters. It's been called everywhere. Vote Hub, CNN. So this is a very solid district.
It's official.
Is it?
Did he lose?
Armstrong.
I'm not seeing it yet.
No, okay. Gotcha.
I'm seeing it's called everywhere for Justin Pearson though. NBC,
for
New York
Pearson,
Times. Okay. Yeah, Pearson is a lock for sure. And he's going to Congress. This is a blue district. So that's a really solid progressive.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Is going to be in Congress, which is really, really encouraging to see. I'm very happy about this.
Wait, was Justin Pearson did take any AIPAC money, right?
As far as I know, no. On his website, he does say he does not support sending money to human rights abusers.
It's been called Ogles lost.
No. Who called it?
It's been called Vote Hub.
No. Oh my God.
He's out.
Wow.
Zachary Dunning, represent any Ogles member of the
Charlie
House
Hatcher
Caucus
won.
and Trump endorsed incumbent, is upset in the Republican primary in Tennessee 05 to Charlie Hatcher, who was backed by several prominent establishment-aligned
He gave
Tennessee
the people
Republicans.
nothing. And they said, give us nothing.
Yeah. But here's the thing.
Nothing.
You want to, but what's interesting about it, you know who Ogles was endorsed by? Trump.
Really?
Donald
Yep.
Trump.
Ogles was endorsed by Trump, and Tennessee Republicans endorsed Hatcher instead. And Hatcher won.
Very encouraging results. Very encouraging results. I will say, America, I'm not willing to change my opinion of you, but this does bode well for
God, thank God
my
Binger is
perception
not
of you.
here, or else we would have a 3-hour debate on what patriotism is, because I will not change my mind about America either. But we're going places. Slowly.
You know, things are
nationalism sucks,
looking
but
a little up.
love if you love the people of a country, I think that's always worth it. And if
I
you
don't know if I
represent
love Americans. To be real honest
Yeah, I
with
will
you,
say I don't like Americans especially, but
I
I'm
don't
hoping
consider
for
I don't
us to do
consider
better.
I would hope for us to do better, but I think I don't like I don't know what to say to that. I'm just thinking of I like this. No, there's a lot of people there who I don't like either.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody's like, oh, you're being too hard on Americans, okay, well, come and meet my uncle. Come and meet some of my siblings. Okay, then you'll change your fucking mind on Americans. So
I just think there's so much it's interesting to me. I think that the interesting thing of the through line for all of these races is how propaganda is kind of failing.
Right.
With the most money it's ever had. That's crazy to me. These results are very close because of the amount of money being spent, which is already obscene, but it's a failure of the amount of money. You would think that they would probably spend more money for after the $60 million that they lost. They probably will spend more money against Al-Sayed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not a small drop in the bucket for these guys. That's a lot of money and resources to direct to this race to lose like that. And to have your candidate then go on stage the next day, hug Al-Sayed, and then be like, hey, let's go win this thing. All of your consultancy, all of your, it's a huge loss for AIPAC and what that means for, I don't even think, I think that's a really stupid thing for the third. That's the third way not reading the room. They put out an announcement, we're going to spend $15 million against socialists. Did you not but did you not observe why you lost? One of the biggest reasons you lost was people are very upset with the amount of money that was spent on this race. You're going to spend more? You fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, they don't care. One thing I will say is this Justin Pearson, not to change the subject, but the Justin Pearson win comes at the perfect time because one of the 3 victories we had on Tuesday may have just been canceled out because I'm not sure if you all saw this, but William Lawrence, who ran another race in Michigan, he's a progressive guy. He is the co-founder of the Sunrise Movement. He kind of did a bit of a pivot already. He had an interview on CNN where he talked about how he left the DSA, and after saying he's not going to support Hakeem Jeffries as speaker, he's already saying he's going to vote for Hakeem Jeffries as speaker.
Okay, so can I say something about that? Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Yes.
I was talking to someone who worked on the Hill for 10 years. And I was talking about this shift amongst DSA progressives, and I'm like, why? It's kind. I call it the AOC shift, right? Why did they go from gun ho, this is who I am, to I'll vote for Hakeem Jeffries when the time comes, right? And the way she explained it to me is that if they don't essentially respect or show support for people like Hakeem Jeffries, they will be completely ousted from everything in Congress. So when we're talking about them being able to run committees, them being able to do their job, them being able to cross collaborate, and then they end up not surviving. So I feel
you're right. And
more time.
Just to be clear, I fully expect him and every other socialist to get in and fall in line and vote for Jeffries. The problem with this particular move, and he's also doing it, by the way, because he wants money from the Democratic apparatus in the general. But the reason why this one in particular is annoying is because he was one of the people that was very gung-ho against Jeffries, and he hasn't even talked to Jeffries yet. Jeffries hasn't called him. He hasn't called Jeffries. So he's throwing away his leverage when he could say, hey, you want my vote? I'd like this particular committee assignment. I'd like to maybe get a vote on Bill X, Y, and Z. So he's just giving up his leverage without even offering nothing. So it looks like a coward move. And with regard to him pivoting away from the DSA, I understand why he would do this. Logically speaking, it's a battleground district. Trump won this district last time. So on paper, it sounds like it makes sense. The problem is that you're not going to convince any Republican to come over and vote for you. They're still going to call you a socialist. And now you are going to lose the organizational power that the DSA has. And the only people you're going to piss off are DSA members. So to me, it looks like a dishonest, opportunistic move. And I hope that that's not the case. I hope that
did he full on leave it, or did he just say that he'd left it in an interview?
He said that he let his membership lapse. I could pull up the clip that way because I don't want to straw man him. And
that's
I'm
a very interesting. That's an interesting. Like, I think also you have to keep in mind that the way people play around this kind of shit is like, I mean, it's politics. I mean, like people. Yeah.
Well, sorry. Mm-hmm. What is the majority of his district? What's the race?
I'm not sure. I know it's a
voting block.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I just know that Trump won in the last election.
I think there needs to be a lot of nuance when we talk about the state of Michigan specifically. Just because, and I think Rebecca can speak to this better, but I just Abdul Sayed's race was way too close. It was way too close. Mm-hmm. And one of the voting blocks that he lost or he did not do well in, from my understanding, is the black vote. And there's a lot of trust that needs to be built, not amongst just DSA members, DSA candidates and people that align themselves with DSA, but also just him being a part of the uncommitted movement, from my understanding, to a lot of black voters was like, a betrayal, even though he did endorse Kamala Harris, even though a lot of what the woman he ran against, I don't know why I'm blanking on her name, a lot of the shit she said about him was completely false. He endorsed Kamala Harris. But he has a lot of work to do with the black community, 100%. And so I think when we're talking about Michigan and we're looking at the ways that these candidates are starting to move, we also have to keep in mind the complexities that the state of Michigan has as well, because not only is it historically a swing state, Abdul still won. I'll give him that. It's 100% something that we should celebrate, but it's definitely still balls to the wall, because we risk a lot of people sitting out of this race if they don't feel represented, if they don't feel heard, right? Humans are complex. So I feel like when we talk about Michigan, we just have to have a lot of nuance, because it's not like a New York City, right? It's
no, that's fair. That's fair. And I'll play. We were talking about
this. I'm 1-1 with you, Ariana. We were talking about this earlier, where I'd mentioned the left has a huge issue with engaging like the black community, and we just treat them like monoliths all the time, and they are not. And it's frustrating the amount that we don't have that conversation.
It's uncomfortable to have that conversation for a lot of people who are on the left, because if you mention the said complexities, it calls them out, because it almost holds a mirror to them about things that they do that are aligned with conservative behaviors. It's like whatever the misrepresentation comes with, almost being like black issues aren't important unless they are popular, right? The popular
or they're filtered through a socialist lens, or like filtered through like a white leftist lens.
100%. And if you call out the white leftist, it gets I've been in this game long enough to see how it's become. When it all started, a lot of Black folks who were just getting in politics, especially around the time, I always call it the resistance time because it cracks me up. Everybody was resistant. But, back in 2016, when that was the whole thing, we all thought, okay, they're opening the doors. They're allowing more conversations for the Black people to lead a lot of these things. So me and Ben in particular took a lot of the issues and found where they were missing the Black conversation. And we at the time were working for very progressive, predominantly white folks who only wanted us to talk about the issues just white. And we had to come to them in the meetings and be like, hey, you're missing the space, how this particular thing is affecting Black folks. We get and we're the ones sitting here talking about immigrant issues. And when we talk about the immigrant issues, especially at that time, we were talking about DACA, right? The Dreamers Act and stuff like that. I'm like, we're mentioning the Mexicans. We're talking about all that stuff. But we also have to mention what is happening in the Black community and how Black immigrants are being forgotten in these conversations. And how right now the Haitian immigrants, because at that time they were being, attacked as well. And I'm like, we got to be able to involve that. They pulled me, these progressives, and he hates, he be watching. I'm not going to say his name, but he hates when I mention this because he'll throw something out there through the channels to be like, she needs to keep my name out her mouth. And I will, because I don't really care to say it. But me and Ben have gotten to meetings where Ben almost had to throw hands, sorry, Ben, on him in the middle of the meetings because we're sitting there telling them, they literally would say, and I will never forget this. Whoever watches me over the years, you guys know I've told this story. When I brought it up about how they were coming about telling the stories and missing out our points or having us talk about leaders or people who were running in their campaigns, and they hated when we would point out they're missing these conversations. They're missing, adding how this affects Black communities. Baby, they put us in the meeting and they told me verbatim, his wife said this to me. She said, we kind of think that when we see you and when we hear you presenting the Black, stories and things, it just gives BET. Baby.
Oh my God. No, they didn't.
She said it.
What
and
the
at that time,
fuck?
At that time, they wanted me to break my newsy style because I spoke and, I covered the stories in a very journalistic way. I had the newsy voice. They told me to come a little more whatever, and I never did. However, when we got into that meeting, I began to cover a lot of Black stories in my newsy way, how I knew to do. But they sat me in that meeting. Mind you, we helped their channel go viral. Me and Ben were getting millions of views all the time. And they sat us down. Ben was shaking the table. I will never forget it in that meeting. But these were the people that wanted us to cover the surface level things, and we had to tell them. But those are white issues. Do you guys see how this is affecting? We can talk about that, but we can also talk about how this is affecting Black folks. And we're talking about policing, right? You guys just want to talk about at the surface level. Who right now is the ones that are being, killed and targeted? Yeah. We got to talk about these numbers. We got to talk about the demographics. We got to talk about those things, baby. They hated it, and I see online now the same thing. When I do certain videos, especially over the years, so this next branch, from 2020 to now, when I would say, okay, I remember I did the story recently, or was it last year, when I talked about that white lady wanting a damn bouncy house at the people's stuff, right? At the protest. Baby, them white ladies was upset that I said that. They were in the comments like, so that's what you want to worry about? I'm like, no, it's your white peers that are going to these events or these things that are supposed to be for the protections of Black folks, but they're showing up and asking for bounty houses for their children. Or when it is time for them, when we're asking them, especially when I used to be on, on Rising at the Hill, whatever, and I'll be on there and there'll be people saying, I totally understand what's going on right now. I will say stuff like, well, what is it that you understand? Do you understand how this policy or this thing is affecting the Black community? Because you're saying that you understand, baby. They'll be like, well, I'm not racist. I never said you were racist. Speaking about these issues, if we're talking about
like
policy,
it's
insane.
I love how the binary quote. The binary choice is either you're racist or you understand suddenly all of racial politics. You can't be at all like you can't all admit that you have blind spots and are not a Black person. So you can't fucking understand that. It's crazy to me, dude.
Yeah. And it's and they don't want to have these conversations. They don't want the Black people. They want to also make them make us a monolith. I don't like that either. This idea that we can't be immigrants as well, so we can't have the immigrant issue. We can't be a part of that conversation, or we can't have, the conversation of, with healthcare when we are, when we're talking about Black women in health. Oh, when I say my former, bosses, when I talked about the issues of Black women in healthcare, baby, they were so upset. Any of these matters, they don't want to have the conversation. When I see the left, and that's why sometimes I'm not afraid to call out the left and how they are moving, but this is not anything new. They've been moving like this for a very long time. Like, they're the ones that get online again. The blue bracelet crew. Ain't nobody mentioned their name, but they got online and thought to put it upon themselves to say, I voted for Kamala. You see, I'm wearing this blue bracelet and I want to protect me. And I want to, and that is like so problematic. And then you have the people who, like, when Marjorie Taylor Greene sat down and wanted to tell her story on Netflix, right? When she did her whole thing, and a lot of the leftist people said, you know what, but hear her out though. The line for them was, the bar for them was so low and it was in hell that they were just like, guys, come on.
And she's on Cameo now, by the way.
Right.
Oh, how much?
They're like, she's calling out Trump, so that should be enough. And that's where the left goes. Like, I hate it. We have to, they're afraid to really, like, they'll go ahead and say, let's listen to Marjorie Taylor Greene instead of let's listen to, Jasmine Crockett. Let's hear, instead of that, right? That's what they'll do. And I don't like it, but that's where
the Jasmine Crockett thing too. I'm sorry to interrupt, I feel like an asshole interrupting too.
No, baby, go ahead.
Very ironic. No, but that's such an interesting point too, because look, I have huge issues with how Jasmine Crockett ran her race, and I have huge issues with her as a candidate, right? But there are so many. But I dared in a video to just say but you can't act like she's wrong, that there are people who have internal racism who weaponize that in even if you're choosing Tallarico because you feel he's a better candidate or he's better on these issues, or you feel like she's too establishment, you have to understand that there's maybe some racial tension playing into that. And I got swung on by people oh, you're just playing into the same establishment politics. They want to turn it. I'm like, you're not getting it, dude. You're like even just because people want to have such an enemy or like a scarecrow to swing at so hard, right?
And they'll choose the Black person to be
exactly
that.
All of the time.
Yeah, and and that's why I'm like, I had these conversations. The wife of my former bosses at the media company, she was Iranian. And I love her, right? We were close, we were great. But when it came to those type of things, I'm like, lady, now I sat here and we had conversations, and I told you how, what they say about Black folks, and I told you how they feel about brown folks. We know damn well that they put every brown folk in a group and they're gonna automatically call them terrorists. That's because what America has put and labeled. And we had those conversations. I'm like, so you sit here and you allow us to minimize those conversations. Those need to be had. We need to talk about those things. But it's just, she was so enthralled into that leftist, that white leftist way. And when me and Ben thought, oh, this is a great time for us to, work together and have these conversations, but it really was so comfortable for them to just have it in that one box where it just was surface and mostly majority, if not all the time, white centered. So a lot of the people who also used to follow them, who saw Ben and I leading these conversations, they would be in the comments like, yeah, but you're making it about race. Okay, you sound like the other side. So what is it? You don't want us to call this out? You don't want us to talk about this? We need to talk about it as a whole. We need to make it more nuanced. We need to talk about the people who are running. I remember we had, I forget, that Camilla, Georgia, there was a mayor who they didn't even give the keys to the city. He had to go in, walk in through the back. And I forget his name now, but we broke a story for him where it went viral and he was able to then get the keys, right? My former bosses were upset that we did a profile piece on that, right? And I'm like, but in his town, all the white people were so upset that he became mayor that even the police and everybody shut him out of his position. And I was like, oh no, we got to talk about this. Like, we got to make this a whole thing. And they were mad that we did that. We covered that piece and we changed that man's life, right? This mayor of Camilla, Georgia. And so, but you know, that's why I'm like, it's important for us to keep pushing it. But white folks, and even, I'm not going to even white political commentators get uncomfortable when they're pushed to have these conversations.
How dare you, Rebecca? Are you saying that I'm racist?
Yeah, absolutely. But it gets uncomfortable for them to have to lean in on that side a little bit, because it's like, you know, when people be like, well, hey, no, this is what it really is. They're like, how can you tell me? We're like, because we're black, so we can tell you, and we can work together on this stuff.
Bro,
it's good for us to be able to
and
work
I
together.
had to talk to. The last time we were on, we had that huge blow up happen about Graham Plattner.
No.
About,
sorry,
like,
I wasn't on.
No.
Not that deep again. Not that deep again.
I don't want to do it again. I don't want to do it
We're
again.
not bringing it up, but I wasn't on, and I.
Oh, it feels good to be on the right side of history, doesn't it? Though
it was Scotch bonnet up in here. Like, it gave what's going on, but you know, again, those are moments where we can see.
Same conversation that you're telling, though. It's like there's the white leftist perspective, and then there's that intersectional perspective, and that's kind of what I wanted to bring into this conversation without speaking for black folks. Like, yes, Abdul Sayed's win was huge. As a Muslim girl who was told to hide her identity, I was elated, right? We have had, that might be the first Muslim Arab man in American Senate, right? Which is insane. But at the same time, we still need to have a conversation about how divided the leftist movement is and how folks feel left out, right? And I think the Graham Plattner conversation that we had on this podcast was a great example of how some of us do feel left out at times. I think that the Abdul al-Sayed vote is a great example of how folks can feel left out sometimes. And I just think that, you know, these conversations need to be had, right? Like, we can celebrate certain things and also acknowledge other things and bring that intersectionality into the conversation in this podcast, because a lot of the criticism of DSA, I'm a paying member of DSA. I have been for years. Okay. I still think that I should be able to criticize and say, okay, but sometimes DSA does miss that intersectionality, right? And that's a part, like, whenever a new movement starts, the pendulum swings, right? We're all kind of figuring out together. We're all trying to see what works, what doesn't. And it's like, and sometimes when that pendulum swings, voices get left out. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of why I wanted to bring up that, like, I love the conversation around Abdul al-Sayed, but like, there does need to be a conversation around how his race is not the same as Zoran's, because the demographic is not the same at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that part of the problem is that, like, to kind of go back to what Rebecca said as well about these conversations, is that I think there's this idea with white leftists that they don't necessarily have to address racism directly, because if they skirt around that with class reductionism and they just give people socialism, then everybody's economic anxiety will die down and the racism will also start to go away too. But the problem is that that is not how it's going to work. You have to directly address racism to get to socialism, because the thing about this country and the history of racism is that there are so many white people who will cut off their nose happily despite their faces, meaning that if somebody comes along and says, hey, I will give you Medicare for all, I will give everyone free healthcare, they will reject that if they know that black people and people of color get it too. And that is something that you have to address. You have to, which is why Rebecca made a great point about, like, talking about healthcare specifically, like the disparities between black and white people in healthcare, because you're not saying that you can't have these conversations about healthcare, which appeals to everyone universally, yes, but you still have to bring in race and attack the anti-blackness and racism, because if you don't, if you kind of just like try to push it to the side, it's going to grow and fester like a fucking cancer. So you've got to tackle it head on, because it's in your best interest too. I think that part of the problem, aside from it just being like uncomfortable to talk about race if you're a white person, is that you feel like there is a way to just like get around that, right? To subvert it, to skip a step and just like defeat the racist beast by just giving white people a bunch of social programs. But you actually do have to tackle it, because that is the thing that is inhibiting class solidarity. You can't really get class solidarity without addressing the racism issue. And so, like, this is why I've always been against, like, the class reductionists on the left who don't want to talk about race, because they feel like, oh, it's divisive. It makes people feel bad, when in actuality, it's the racism that makes people feel bad. It makes people feel otherized. And I just feel like if you don't actually be brave and go straight into it and address it, you are going to make yourself that much weaker. The goal is to bring people together, but you can't skip this step to get to class solidarity. You have to actually address the racism, because that's specifically how they prevent us from having solidarity. What is the first thing Republicans always do? It's this immigrant that's taking your job. It's black people doing X. It's trans people doing Y. And if you don't actually address that specifically, and like the root that's causing these types of attacks to land with white people, then it's only a matter of time before the movement gets disrupted, because you're not attacking the actual root cause, which is the animosity based on race or somebody's, ethnicity and whatnot. So you can't like skirt around it. You've got to address it head on. Otherwise, we're not going to win long term.
Otherwise, we're going to have more of Nancy Pelosi, putting on the kente cloth with friends, and that's where I do also think that sometimes I've found myself doing that when I first started working for those people that won't be named, but where I was kind of sitting around in the room or in different conversations or covering the stories as if, just very like in partnership with that kind of BS, making them comfortable to do that. And that's kind of what I think the Black Caucus did in that time too, where it's like, we got to start challenging them. That's when I said, this is uncomfortable, because they're just kind of like putting a Band-Aid on it, or we're just kind of like inviting them to the cookout, which I won't go to no more, but we're inviting them to the cookout, and that's it, because they said one little black thing, or they rapped the black lyric. That's what it, is similar to. I'm like, I can't, we gotta start calling them out.
The endorsement, I was like, oh, this, I can't believe he did that. I can't believe they did that.
But the issue too, and I think you guys bring up a good point. It's just like, there's a lot of people who treat anti-racism as like an aesthetic. It is an aesthetic that you have that is supposed to signal and that's all that has to be. It's not like a meaningful, like people feel like they don't need to address it. Like meaningful, like you said, Mike, because these social programs will deal with it. But anti-racism is just like I checked off the box, right? It's like when you tell somebody something in a movie, I've checked off the box. I don't have to show you anything. I just told you, and you should know it's there, right? You're dealing with like the fact that that's such an egotistical perspective to have, right? To pretend like, oh, okay, well, just because I've said these things about Gaza, these things about the black community and incarceration, like I'm done with all of my work.
Yes.
It is a constant process. Yeah. We've like 400 years of like just tribalism and shit. And suddenly, just because you read like 3 books, you've gotten it. No, man. Like I have blind spots like that I have to address, and
Same.
like and unless people understand that we are all compromised and all working against it, then you're not really doing the work. You're just wanting the rewards without the process involved.
Then you're so right about that. So me and Ole have had this conversation so many times. When the conversation of Gaza started. And Ben is the one that, when I first got into politics, like over a decade ago, that sat me down and schooled me on that conversation in itself, right? On what's happening there in a bigger scope than just peace in the Middle East, right? Just war and just more than that, what's actually going on. So I was able to have those conversations more deeper and understand over the years. However, again, we see a lot of the politics from the past 10 years have moved from actually being a part of the cause to now you just being a political commentator or a TikToker or whatever, and joining in on let me get my camera and show up to this particular event where people are actually getting shot up or whatever, and just say, right, you'll see them a part of it for that moment while it's trendy and while it is trending on in the algorithm, and it'll get you the numbers. But after it's all done, that stuff is still happening, right? ICE is still out there picking up folks, right? I was just in Florida and in my mama's church, then people ain't coming no more because they're scared they're going to get picked up. They're not going to that area that I said that they filled up and started working at. I went to that area again. They are not there. They're not coming out because ICE has been swarming that area. So ICE is still outside. ICE is still attacking folks. People, in Gaza are still going through what they're going through. Like, the conversations have slowed down because it's no longer popular to discuss, right? Where are you guys when, where are you guys on the issue when it's no longer trending? Because the issue is still there. You know what I mean? They just move on to the next thing and what's more popular and make a little video about it. For the ones that make these, funny videos about serious issues, I don't like it, right? I don't like how they say, like, for instance, the Nolan Wells issue, right? The murder of Nolan Wells, how people have been like, how are you a beauty content person who has decided that you mentioning Nolan Wells is going to get you more numbers? So now you're covering that as content. I don't like it. And that's what we're seeing right now with political issues and political commentators and stuff like that. There's this gray area. It's just kind of like, let me talk about it right now, but tomorrow that will no longer be my issue, right? I'm not saying that you need to talk about it every day, because as political commentators, as people in the news and the media, there are so many issues and we just try to, talk about them. But say you had to get on right now on a, say one of these shows called you to comment on it. These are people who you can tell that they don't have any understanding of it or any care of it, because where are you on the issue now? Like, when they call you to have the conversation, or if you're in the middle of the conversation, what do you know about this issue now? You were so serious about Gaza and reposting them babies dying and all those things. But today, right, a year later, where are you on that issue now? Right. I've seen people, and they're colleagues of mine, but I with them, we debate. Why are you outside of the DNC, with the protesters, but then inside as well, support? I just didn't get that. Where's your messaging? And then, I just like, stick to your whatever it's going to be. Talk about it. Stick to it. People are afraid to stand on whatever side of it they're on. Also, and I'm like, hey, it's getting all mixy. You guys aren't really for the cause. You guys are there for pictures and moments to say that you were there. But if, people are following you because, or started following you because they're like, like for you, Ariana, you're really big on what's happening in the Middle East. You're there talking about what happens in Iran and Gaza. People know that when they go on your page, they'll hear that. They know that they're following you because you are going to be somebody who sticks to that. That's your niche. That's your whole story. And that's great. But other people who have been doing the same thing that you were doing last year ain't got nothing to say about that, because they don't give a damn. They don't care. They don't care. What happened in 2020?
It's important for 5 minutes to get your,
What happened in 2020 when Black folks was getting shot down, and we were talking, about, defunding the police and all those things. Defunding the police isn't talked about anymore. It's not. And they're still killing Black folks. They still doing it.
It's now denounced, and people are like, "Oh, well, we only said defund the police because it was an emotional response. It wasn't an actual feasible policy."
That's what they're saying now, and they're saying that.
They don't even
it's
use the verbiage defund the police. It's like reallocate funds now or something like that. Like that, I haven't even heard a politician say defund the police in a very long time. And you know what's very interesting? I'm not friends with this person anymore, but this person is getting a PhD in sociology, studying specifically policing and in Black communities. And I was talking to him, and we were talking about the same exact thing, because what's very interesting is that, so Zohran Mamdani is effectively not defunding the police necessarily, but what he has done is that he has created a lot of caps for like a lot of these police officers and firefighters to not be able to work as much overtime as they used to do under Eric Adams. I know a firefighter, he was like, I made $200K just with OT. And I was like, all right, that's fucking crazy. Like, why are we doing OT if there's other people that can work your fucking job, right? But what's interesting is that what he is doing, right, he's taking funds from different places and he's funding the people, right? That could be, planting trees, opening up, discounted grocery stores, locking in funding for libraries and schooling, funding schools more so that there's more teachers in every single school and classrooms are smaller, having free universal pre-K. This is all the same ideology of defund the police, right? Because the idea of defunding the police was taking money from, police and that kind of law enforcement and funneling it into the community. But you'll notice that his campaign will never use the wording defund the police, which is fascinating to me. Like, we have completely, like, that word defund the police is almost taboo now, in my opinion. Like, you
but that's how politics has always worked like that. It's politics in general. And like, there's a lot of strategies you'll see from people like during the civil rights movement where they would say, a lot of the NOI would have this strategy where they'll say something outlandish or like really intense because they want people to focus on them, and then they get the actual issue out, right? And that was very effective in fighting a lot of the propaganda that was going on at the time against the civil rights movement, right? Against people who were campaigning against Montgomery bus boycott, like those instances work well, and it's a common tactic for activism. I think it's very funny, like, especially with the defund the police stuff and everything that you're saying, is how the language around those issues changes. But I think especially in this time, the way we've just like everybody notices the language change, so everybody is attacking language in such a way to try to limit what language is used so the issue just dies out, right? It's this complete optics play where we don't really talk about the merits of defund the police or the merits of arms embargo on Israel or the merits of any of these issues that we're talking about. We're all focused on the semantics of how they go. I just saw in the comment section, right, where somebody just recited to the conversation we just had, tagging all of us, going, identity politics shouldn't be the dividing line. Class should be the dividing line.
I saw that.
Completely missing the point that we just had.
So okay,
completely missing what we just said.
Wait,
you have to do both.
Up.
You can't.
I'm so glad you brought this up. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. Really quick. My childhood best friend is a Black woman who works in politics, and that exact conversation came up where it's like she was telling me, she was like, I feel like DSA does not hear, I don't want to misuse her wording, right? But basically what she told me was that a lot of Black folks feel unheard because people will say, well, class is the real divide. But it's like, okay, a poor Black person versus a poor white person, who has an easier way within our society to not be poor anymore? Let's be so for real. You know what I mean? So it's
it depends on region too.
It depends on region. It all depends on zip code and what your family has and what family you were born into, right? Like if you were born into a poor family, you're a person of color, you're a Black person, you grew up in a poor zip code, your statistics are fucked from the womb, right? Like your statistics on this education you're gonna get, the type of reading, how well you'll be able to read, your literacy, your odds of graduating high school, your odds of going and getting a higher degree, those are all completely neutered when you are born in a poor zip code and you live in a poor family. There's so much statistics backing this, right? So it's like this conversation, I'm so glad that you called that out, because a lot of white leftists love to remind us that, oh, well, class is the real issue. This is exactly why Bernie did not win the popular vote when he ran for presidency, because a lot of Black voters felt like he was not hearing that. Like it was all class. There was never any acknowledgement that there's much more. There's a lot of intersectionalities within class, right?
Different struggles.
White people feel uncomfortable in this conversation. And it's like, well, it's not my fault that certain people's ancestors created the system, okay? I'm just trying to...
No, I don't.
But I also think
what do you want me to
do? You have a good point too, Ariana. Like I think it's also like it's not supposed to be. We all talk about this like actually this is the real issue or this is the real issue. They are all the real issue. It is you don't have to like pick. It's not like Pokemon where you pick one and you have to deal with it the whole game, right? All of these are intersecting at the same time, right, in different ways. And I know it's bad that we have this uncertainty and we have to kind of go through this nuance where we have to suss out where somebody is being fucked over, like how the intersectionality of income, or the intersections of income, race, class, zip code, country, belief system, looks, like all of those things intersect at the same time. But like, if you want to have a better society, you have to do that. That's the work. The easy way out is being like, oh, it's just race, it's just class, it's just income. That flattens the curve in a way where you get problematic candidates and you get people abusing identity politics, right? And at the same time, people of certain identities in those politics not being heard.
And I think that when you say class and you put that above race, you're basically saying, I don't want to talk about race. I don't want to talk about any issues that are not directly going to affect me personally. And it looks like you're self-centered. It looks like you're opportunistic. And that's very difficult to build a coalition with you, because you are broadcasting to anyone else from a disadvantaged group that you're not going to be able to work with them unless your priorities come first. When in actuality, if you go back to like the Black Panther Party, Fred Hampton, it wasn't a, hey, let's pretend like racism isn't real. It was, hey, listen, I have your back, you have my back. These are the issues that affect my community. These issues affect your community. Let's both advocate for each other. Like, there's a give and a take. It's not just, hey, shut the fuck up about race. I want Medicare for all, okay? No, it's more of a, what's affecting you and what is affecting me. Like, there's different needs for each community.
Yeah.
And being able to speak to everybody's priorities and try to foster some sort of solidarity and like reciprocity. That's the way you foster class solidarity. You don't foster class solidarity by saying, shut the fuck up about race. That's just not going to work. You cannot be a class reductionist. That is toxic to any movement, because all you do by being a class reductionist is you bring in like white people who aren't necessarily wealthy or anything like that, but they're at least comfortable with regard to their race. Like, I'm not saying that, like, with regard to white privilege, oh, white people can't be poor. Of course white people can be poor. Nobody's saying that. But the difference between a poor white person and a poor black person is that a poor white person isn't not going to get a job because of their name on an application. I mean, we just saw in a Michigan race, a Trump-endorsed candidate did not win his election. He lost to a Republican who was not endorsed by Donald Trump, who dropped out a month ago because he was black and his name was Amir Hassan. Like, that is not going to be the experience of any white person. So it's just like acknowledging these things and also saying, hey, as a white person, this particular thing in my community affects us. Our fucking pipes are fucked up. We have, like, you know, a lot of issues accessing healthcare in rural areas. Like, trying to communicate with each other. That's how you foster class solidarity, not pretending like racism has been solved.
Yeah. And you know, they think that because they've said, like, I went to a protest, that's enough. Or, you know, it's to me, it's, you know, equivalent to my friend black, right? You know, and that's not enough for us to make any changes. And I think that's why, seeing how it's been going, I was a part of that time where I thought that would be enough, right? If we just get together and we have conversations. But when I realized we not on the same page, y'all not really trying to move the needle because you got comfortable. But when it started to require more of you, where we had to educate you more, and we got tired of doing that, we're like, now we're doing the work for you. And when you're in the room, you're leading the conversations. TYT, right? You're leading these conversations, but you're not understanding the actual stories. I remember when you wanted our voices, but you didn't really want, like, you know, to really understand the stories, right? You wanted us to come on and speak for the Black issue, but that wasn't something that you cared to really understand. And you're seeing that more and more, but now you're seeing it where, again, it's just an aesthetic. It's become just an aesthetic. And I think that it has to be, and when it's called out, and for example, I'm not trying to bring back the story, okay? But like for the Platinum Conversation, right? Not only here, but on Olay's video where you guys were a part of that. But in the comments section, a lot of people, you had that division, and mostly from the white left who got on there and were saying, well, I voted for him because, or I was supporting him or endorsing him because this, and that's not why, and and we're like, hey, we're having two different conversations. You're not seeing for what we're saying.
It's not an attack on you, dude.
That's what they were saying. It was an attack on you and why you endorsed. No, nobody called you out by your name. Nobody put your social security out there, friend. You got in the comment section and called yourself out, and it's not that we're trying to attack you. And it became less about what the problem was, and more so they felt like it was an indictment against them and their decision for endorsing. And I think that's the problem with the left, especially the Caucasian ones. Like, you know what I'm saying? I love y'all, mean it, but there is a difference in how we need to really fight this fight. Also, and it's not only white folks. Like, again, I almost fell victim to that coming into politics, where it was like, let me stay on this side of it so that I don't either lose my job, as you were saying, Ariana, with the people who are working in politics. There has to be a safe space for them to maintain their positions. But then when you start actually realizing that it may not be helping, especially for the ones who have the option to move a little more free, you're going to have to risk moments like me and Ben up in the people office ready to throw down. Okay. I still got the text message where the white man told Ben, oh, come meet me at the office. Ben was like, what's up? It was crazy. Right. But this is what you got to do in these moments where we're like, we got to fight for our stories to be told properly,
Ben's
or
a real
for us
one,
to be
dude.
represented, or for, we got to make sure that we're doing this right, because it's going to be very surface level. It's been going on for years, and we're at a place where if it requires too much for the white leftists, right? If it requires them to get their hands a little dirty, to go beyond the easy parts of the conversation, or just go beyond bringing the expert in the room. When we're not in the room, you got to have done the work enough to be able, like you guys do, to have those conversations when your black friend is not in the room, because you understand what it means for these black issues to be missed in conversations, or for black representations to be misrepresented. So that's what, I think, now there's just this really comfortable space, and then when you push the white leftists a little to the edge, hey, or you correct them, baby, they're just like, now how dare you say that to me? Like, that's the offense happened.
Do you know my resume? Do you know my and I think it's I don't know, you just kind of nailed it. I don't know what I'm gonna add to that. I echo all of it. Like, I think it's somebody also said, like, would Asians count? Yeah, Asians, like, all of us count, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's not
everybody, the marginalized crew, all in all. But
bro, and it's even and it's different. It's not like this. It's not a binary how bad like oppression isn't like an Olympic sport. Okay, we have different things that we all experience in our communities. There's differences between what Muslim men and Muslim women have to go through in terms of oppression, right? There's differences of what black women and black men have to go. It's all different. I remember it was literally less than a week ago where somebody was talking about how slavery operated in Arab countries, right? And and the Arab slave trade and stuff. And I was I remember people getting so defensive about it, not understanding dude, just because we're oppressed here in some way doesn't mean that we have a history that goes through shit, right? Korean the whole world was built off of warlords and blood and crazy shit.
Japan has a really bad history, and a lot of people forget about that because it's so cool now.
Korea too, dude. Korea's
it's
the
all about the
longest
power
unbroken
dynamics. It's all about the power. That's what it always comes down to: the power and the distribution of resources. Yeah, every single time. And one thing, aside from it just being uncomfortable, I think white people also, like white leftists in particular, get a little bit frustrated if they perceive there to be a hyperfixation on race, because they feel like it's delaying the process towards socialism and class solidarity, when in actuality it's a necessary step. Yeah. Because again, you can't just skip the step. You have to go through. It means you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, exactly.
It's a checkpoint. It's not a
precisely. Yeah, you're not going to get from point A to point Z without going through all the other letters first. You have to address this. It's not a delay. It is a necessary step.
They can't
in this
spell. They can't read. They can't spell. They just hear and they want to just jump. It's just ever since No Child Left Behind, the kids was left behind. They just
people don't even know. People don't even know about No Child Left Behind these days, dude. Like
they don't know politics for real. It's an aesthetic. Yeah. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know anything. It's an aesthetic. It's an aesthetic to make this nice point and then be the white person that went viral that made this nice point, but don't know anything. Like I said, when we are not in the room, like when the people who actually have been talking about politics or, have these journalism degrees or have been the talking heads all this time are not in the room. These folks just come in, and then when you are actually asking them about issues and how we got here, they're not able to do so because it's not important to them. It's just an aesthetic. It was just a popularized topic, and that's it. And that's the problem because, and I'll say this too, the left, right? The people in power have aligned themselves and leaned on working with those people who don't really care. I remember watching, I'm not going to say her name, this girl saying, all of the people who work in politics, and media being upset that they called me to show up to this political event. I want to say it's called Threads Up. I forget what it's called, but to this political
Trending
event.
Up.
Yes, that's what it is. Trending up. And they were like, to this political event, my voice is necessary. So then I went to go see how her voice is. And I'm like, who is she? I went to go to her page to go see, and baby, not nothing. No knowledge, no care, nothing. And more so just opinions and nothing that really can help the issues that we have going on, because you're really going to have to be privy to what's going on before you can, say that you are an expert in this matter or being able to lead in that way. It's problematic when you just want to make it a moment that's viral or looks cute or something, you could do a little hip thrust to today. It has to become more. We have to go beyond. I know it was cute in 2020. We was all trying to do a little dance, we was all trying to do the things. People was getting shot outside with rubber bullets, and y'all was out there trying to do TikTok dances in the middle. We can't do that no more. Like we cannot, it has to be more. And that goes for the leadership as well, right? You're running a campaign. We got to be stronger. We got to be more serious. These issues that are happening all over the place, how people are being, marginalized, how this administration are using buzzwords, for certain groups of people. All of these things matter. How we need to make sure that we are putting the people who actually want to do the work, who are doing the work, at the forefront. But that doesn't matter today. It's just about getting the clicks, the views, the numbers, getting people to vote, and then sitting on it. We got to move forward.
And the discomfort from activism should be the sign that you're doing, it's supposed to be uncomfortable when you're fighting this shit.
Absolutely.
Right? Like saying the easy thing is like the easiest thing. It's not like, that's not saying talk on shit you don't know about, but there's a lot of uncomfortable truths that we've had to, especially on the left, for the last 6 months. There are a lot of uncomfortable truths. It's very easy for us to come on this podcast and go fucking Al Sayed won. Fuck it. We got it, guys. Another dub. It's over. It's over. Everything's going to change. No, dude.
You got to hold them accountable. Put their feet to the fire.
Specifically, people who don't know politics, I'm telling, the same fucking thing happened in 2008. Barack Obama beat Hillary Clinton. The same consultants who propped up Haley Stevens propped up Hillary Clinton with the same attacks. And Obama had a much more progressive record at the time, right? And he beat them. And everyone was like, we're done. And so in order to get things passed over his presidency, he allied more and more with centrists. And those centrists right now are the ones attacking the progressive movement, right? And they're using a reanimated corpse of the strategy he used to beat Clintonism and beat the DLC, which was the precursor to the third way. They're reanimating that corpse and using it to fight against all of these progressive reforms. It's not a surprise that he endorsed Mamdani when Schumer wouldn't. And that there's rumors that Biden is upset with him, right? I'm not trying to glaze for Barack Obama.
Endorsed Syed?
Obama went and he did a campaign event with Mamdani at the time, at the time when Schumer and Jeffries were deliberately staying away from it. He spoke out, he called him, he did all this stuff very publicly, right? Because he is at odds with he's the most popular politician in the country, but he's at odds with some of their decisions very clearly, right? So like there's a lot of shit that goes on with like progressivism that happens, and obviously you have to make concessions with like, okay, well, we're going to support Hakeem Jeffries for speaker, is this and that, but like in general, like understanding that, you know, this is a journey. It doesn't have to be stressful, a stressful journey where you hate yourself the whole time, but you can get comfortable with the discomfort of activism and actually gain wins and notch things. Like, we should be comfortable with the kind of like work it takes to win a campaign like this against $60 million, because it will not be the last campaign where people flood money into something. Let's say socialists win for the next 2 years and we get a AOC as president and we're like, oh, democratic socialism is in. They will reanimate that corpse and try to flood money into it to make it this aesthetic and not the real thing that it is. And then when this comes around again and you have to fight money, you need to have a playbook to where people are like, yeah, I'm comfortable with coming out and grinding against these big money interests so we can actually get progressive change in before they take it away. You know, and I think that's such an important lesson to learn when it comes to identity politics and all of these things, because if you don't and you just treat it as an aesthetic, we're in deep trouble, you know, like once the polls are closed, you know?
Sorry,
well, on that note. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ariana. I was going to close this out.
Sorry.
But you go ahead.
Oh, okay. I put a private. Okay, so Daily Wire just put out this trailer for this movie about the threats of Islam because no one in Hollywood wanted to take it.
No.
So I feel like that's something we should watch and react to.
Oh, is that similar to the nobody wanted to make Lady
Is that the one with fucking Jonathan?
Honestly, I don't know. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. It's just all over my TL, and I'm like, why don't we react to it together?
I also have an announcement after we watch this. Some good news.
Okay.
Regarding the election.
Your country is beneath contempt.
We who love and serve Allah fought back against the Americans and the Zionists from the scourge of secularism and the lands of unbelief.
I'm guessing that was a gay person.
Anyone gonna listen to Captain Saunders?
Jonathan,
the retired Delta Force soldier with a new book out.
He's the polar opposite of those brain-dead protesters.
Given the current climate, should Clay Saunders even be allowed on campus?
Mr. Saunders is a close personal friend of Chancellor Friedman. This is a decision I cannot fight.
There are three ways Islam will conquer the West. Through immigration, through the wombs of our women.
Wombs of our women?
This is a Grand Platinum
by using
biopic.
our nation's freedoms against us. Are you paying attention?
What?
Listen carefully. The great Satan, America, will fall.
God,
you are infidels.
this is so in your
Are
face.
you
The bodies
kidding
of
me
women
right
are
now,
not
you guys?
pure, and the men's souls are unclean.
What makes them so dangerous?
That is the whitest Arab person I have ever seen in my life.
Very Aryan race.
I got friends here. I can't just leave.
A pregnant woman.
We cannot run or hide from what is coming.
So
we have to fight.
I will be rewarded 10,000 times in the next life. When you die, you're nothing.
So they're terrorists? I don't like it.
That's the American way.
And they got Jonathan Majors being the. I don't like this.
Yep.
They have never discovered the art of subtlety. Conservatives are so bad.
Guys,
they're very dramatic.
Here's the thing. I don't know if you know this, but it's been reported that all ISIS people learn Arabic and then come to the States and are like, listen, we're going to speak exclusively in English for all of our plans. What about masks? No masks.
What the hell did we just watch?
It felt like a parody of like a right-wing. Well, I'm glad that the Daily Wire is possibly going bankrupt because with shit like that, I mean, that's just bad. That's objectively bad propaganda. It's like from madness levels of Islamophobia.
Listen. There's enough American propaganda against like Muslim people that's entertaining. You could at least like 24. Just remake 24, dude. The fuck are you got to do? What do you got to do? Like, listen, 24 wasn't subtle enough. Like we have to really like ratchet it up. We didn't see enough, like Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Innuendo's not enough. We need him to explicitly say, "I am a Muslim and I am here to kill you." Like we need him to say that.
Why would they go with this? What was the point?
Dog.
What was the reason?
Remember when remember when 300 came out and Frank Miller was off of his shit and decided to make a book called Holy Terror. I don't know if I'm super into comic books. Holy Terror was this book Frank Miller did.
It's basically white supremacist shit.
It's the most. It's basically he was taking Batman and Catwoman and having them try to kill like Al Qaeda and Osama bin Laden, and then DC was like, "We don't know, dude. You're an insane person." And so then he changed it. But with them killing, you would think it's again, but it's super Islamophobic. It's super bad. And then afterwards, like years later, he's like, by the way, I was on like every form of drug possible when I was in that like just giant binge of like right wing rhetoric and everything like that, And but like at least like 300, as non-subtle as it is more of a subtle metaphor than whatever the fuck I just watched with Jonathan Majors.
It was very
Jonathan Majors being the American.
Oh
black.
My god, dude!
Oh my god, we already know his right now. His like, why would he go for this role?
Because here's the thing, if you get canceled, there's one group that will embrace you so long as you say what they want to hear, and it is the right. So if you get accused of rape, domestic violence,
the white abuse. Girl, the whole situation with the white girl that said
he was found guilty on several criminal charges.
Yeah,
law. So that's what you do. It's the Russell Brand thing. It's the Diddy thing. You immediately go to the Christian right, and then they Kanye will embrace you. Yeah, exactly. It's the surefire way you can still have at least a semblance of a career.
Russell Brand and Diddy, I would separate from this guy in only in the way that like I think this guy probably is like, oh well, fucking. I like he just feels wronged. Exactly. Russell Brand and Diddy are like full time, like they went to school for grifting. They have a master's degree in it. Russell Brand famous
also allegedly sexually assaults women. So
and is also
so many. And yes, what the fuck?
Allegedly,
yeah.
Bro, the movie Get Him to the Greek has aged the worst
of
any
right?
movie. You see that? You see that? And yet, still better than anything from the Daily Wire. They have all the canceled comedians they can get, and it's better than anything from the Daily Wire. So
because it's not real art, it's just meant to be propaganda, and that's why it's always so bad. They put the message first. And that usurps their ability to tell a good story. So it just looks so over the top and in your face to where it's a borderline fucking parody of the right-wing world. So that's why all their shit is so bad.
I don't have a problem with stuff being in your face as long as it's well done. Like
and self-aware.
Rebecca is wearing a Boys in the Hood shirt. That movie is very directly telling you things about everything, but it's artfully done. It's done well. The movie Training Day is not subtle. It's telling you something, right? But like you don't. But like it's one thing for being like not subtle. It's another thing for being not subtle and lacking talent and skill and finesse. That's that's the equivalent of like money and like so much money with uncharismatic ingredients involved, dude, on every level.
Well, that was toxic to watch, but I do have some good news, as I promised. Our farmer is going to Congress. It's been called Andy Ogles.
We talked about this.
Armstrong.
I thought we said that.
It wasn't official, I don't think, right?
Now it's official.
Now it's official.
It's official now. It's being called Andy Ogles, the fascist, lost, and Kowalski. This one's for you, bud. You're gonna have a representative in Congress, Charlie Hatcher.
Armstrong.
A farmer. So that's really exciting. Congratulations to the farmer.
Oh my God. That guy has to get dunked on for the rest of his, with the amount of like him trying to use like Zoran's a Muslim, we have to get him out of America bullshit that he did this year. Didn't say that.
Wow.
He also introduced a constitutional amendment to give Trump a third term.
Yes.
So that way it would be, instead of just 2 terms, it's no, you can't have more than 2 consecutive terms. Therefore, Trump is eligible to run in 2028. Just a complete joke. I mean, he's not necessarily a threat politically because he's not effective as a lawmaker. Nonetheless, I think he is like the poster child for American fascism and really the right wing of the fascist flank of the Republican Party, which is most of them, but like somehow he stands out compared to all the other fascists. So to see him go down to this farmer who's just basically a regular racist and hopefully doesn't want an ethno state.
But even still, it's a pretty big rebuke for Trump too, because again, Trump endorsed Ogles, and the Tennessee Republican Party and elites in the Tennessee endorsed Hatcher. And even though Hatcher's like, I'm pro-Trump, which Trump will pivot to loving this guy too, but it is a pretty big. There's a giant fight going on in the Republican Party that we haven't been talking about, and it is a lot of power struggle about what happens after Trump leaves. Because even if he tries to, like, there's a lot of people who want power after him. Rubio wants power, Vance wants power, Johnson wants to probably stay in the same place, right? But like all of these people want power, and it's going to be and the map of what that looks like is different from state, from local elections, from national election. You know, it's an interesting result.
Well, to leave you with some hopium, ask any political scientist, and they will tell you the one thing that always happens after you have this cult of personality rise up in politics is that once they die or they're out of power, that movement it splinters, it fizzles out. It just can't hold the same momentum that it did. Yeah, no, it doesn't hold the same momentum because, like, there's always, like, this imposter syndrome that the successor has that never lives up to the hype of the original, and people crave the original, so, you know, legitimacy starts to wane. They start to become more unpopular as time goes on, and, you know, they don't understand why they're less popular than their predecessor. It's just, so I'm hoping that the Republican Party goes through a similar thing that Democrats went through after Obama was out, right? Where we were just like rudderless for years. We didn't know who was going to be the next leader. I hope that that's the case for Republicans.
I just want to share this also that just happened. That's also a thing.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and DSCC Chair Kristen Gillibrand endorsed Abdul Sayed for Senate in Michigan.
Oh.
That's actually pleasantly surprising. He wants to be Senate Majority Leader, so he's not fucking around. Okay. Good to see. Really good to see.
I think the writing's on the wall for. Oh no, Rebecca. Oh no.
I
think the writing's on. Yeah,
I think the writing's on the wall for article on accident.
That's what I was saying, man. I think the writing's on the wall for these for the third way is not doing well, man. I don't think there's been a huge fight about whether they wanted to control the party for a little bit, and you know they've been getting their ass beat. I'm sorry, I've been talking too much, guys. I apologize.
Well, you're gonna have to talk more because we're gonna shift to super chats. But before we do, I'm not sure if you're gonna stay. You're welcome to if you want to, Zed. But regardless, for people ducking out, tell them where to find you, what you do, and give everybody your shout outs. Plug what you want.
Yeah, hey, I'm Zaid Tabani, not Jelani. Just if you could put my name up so people don't forget who I am, like last time.
Yes.
My name's Zaid Tabani. I do this show called Freestyle the News every week on Sundays, and then I have some other shows where I talk about stuff. We brought back this segment called Grift Watch, where I analyze like media figures and see if they're grifters or they're telling you the truth. You can find me on YouTube with my name Zaid and then Tabani spelled phonetically. You can find me on all the other places at Zaid Team Music. I'm also on Spotify. And come hang out. It's a good time. And yeah.
Always happy to have you, Zed. Well, we will shift to super chats. I was trying to say shift and transition at the same time. And I said yeah. But
I'm gonna warm up my meal prep and be back.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm probably going to duck out pretty early because I didn't stream today. I didn't know if I'd get back in time from the dog vet, but
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everything good with
great,
Chico?
though.
Oh, good.
Chico's doing great. We got him on immunotherapy, so he gets a little bit of what he's allergic to every day in the morning.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because Mexican dogs are allergic to everything in Canada. I found out, like pine, grass, like
Oh.
maple, trees, everything, bark, like the air.
Oh.
Like he's very allergic to the environment.
He's okay though, right?
He's allergic to life, I fear.
He's
I relate to him. I relate to him.
You know, my dog is on Apoquil. My dog Poopy. He's a pug. So
Your dog what?
yeah. My dog, his name is Poopy. He's a pug, and pugs have a lot of health problems. So
Yes.
he's on Apoquil.
So do chihuahuas.
Wait,
yeah.
can I see your pug?
Well, his nickname is Poopy. I should be clear. His real name is Vladimir.
She wants to see him. Where is he?
How'd it get worse? I thought Poopy was bad. Then you said Vladimir for a fucking pug. What
Don't say that about his dog.
Bro,
His
you
na-
picked a fucking...
His full name is Vladimir Pugin.
Pug.
Oh no, his name is Vladimir Putin.
He's named after the Russian dictator. Yes,
No,
I don't know why.
they do.
It didn't
Like,
age
yeah,
well.
That
Okay.
alone, you know what? I approve
Yeah,
Trump putting
that's
you on a
pretty
watch list because that alone should be illegal. I don't know what the fuck.
It was that white leftist.
Chat, stop telling me to not be mean. This is insane. Why am I the only one seeing this?
You're right. You're right.
I've said this before, but I thought back then my sense of humor was very stupid, and I was like I was following Russian politics really closely, and there was a huge like homophobia issue where like Russian men were trying to prey on gay men, and they would like pretend like they wanted to meet up, then they'd beat their ass, and Vladimir Putin was doing this as well. So I was like, that'll show him. A gay dude is naming his dog Vladimir Putin. It's very stupid, very stupid.
But his name, that's his name, and
yeah, that was my point in naming him that. Just like I didn't think very much about it. Although during the 2017 Russiagate era, having a political podcast, not necessarily the best thing, where people were like throwing around accusations of somebody being a Kremlin shill. I was called that. I don't know if they knew that I had a dog named Vladimir, but Lord, if they found out, they would have been rightfully suspicious. Like, hey, what the fuck? This dude has an affinity for Vladimir Putin. No, I don't. I don't like him. It's a stupid joke. But we call him Poopy mostly. I can find some.
I would
Instagram.
too if my pug's name was Vladimir Putin. To be fair,
he don't call him. That's the dog's name, but he don't call him.
Yeah, that's his legal name, but I call him Poopy.
Wait, so
like
is his
98% of the
name
time.
Is his name on medications and stuff Vladimir Putin?
It's just Vladimir.
Okay.
They give him your last name, right?
Yeah, Vladimir Figueiredo.
Yeah.
Pugin is his middle name, technically.
Okay, enough.
Okay. Oh, here we go. This is a
I
great.
want to go to sleep. This is white people antics.
I
Here,
know.
let me share this. I'll share this picture with you really quick. Give me 1 second. I have it on Instagram. It's pulled up.
That's my favorite thing to make fun of white people for. Is their weird.
Their animal names are fucking
Their
insane.
animal names. It's such a white people thing.
That's what my brother named the dog Plantain. It's crazy.
This is Poopy.
He's so cute.
Poor baby. Round here, Vladimir. He don't even look like a Vladimir.
I mean, I can kind of see it.
No.
Yeah.
He gives like.
This is my favorite picture of him.
I can also see Marco Rubio a little bit.
Did you see anything else in the picture?
Is that a knee?
I took this picture of him and it straight up looks like an asshole or dick and balls on the side.
Oh my god!
You know, I was trying to ignore that, but you know,
the boy.
What is it? Can you tell me what the hell
It's just like a knee, a hand, and an elbow.
Okay, it's the elbow, the hand, and the knee. They're doing like this.
Hand?
It's
Like
somebody
this.
sitting like this.
Coming around the
But
side.
from that angle, it looks
When
kind of
you
like
said that,
somebody's
and I looked
butt.
over, it got crazy for my eyes. So
Yeah.
all right.
Oh, I'm crying. Oh,
Look,
thank
me
you
and
for
white
letting me
people
share
business
that
again.
picture. So funny.
All right, let's get to these super chats. I need to go.
I
to
love
bed.
how
got
Zed
work in
comes
the
back
morning.
and there's a dog and a butthole on the screen
That,
while you're eating. It's not really a butthole.
I didn't see the
Okay.
butthole, but
Leave. I love y'all.
Bye.
You take care.
Bye, Lance. Love you. Mean it.
Bye.
All right.
Okay, let me pull up the super chats here. Who wants to go first?
Me, because I got work in the morning. Get me out of
here. Okay. I believe this one is yours, Rebecca. It's the first one
Prairie,
that I see from Kowalski.
Love you, Kowalski. In a universe filled with nothing but darkness, your presence brings the dawn. Thank you so much. I was like, that's so sweet. That's so nice to say. Thank you. Hope all is well. Thank you so much. I hope all is well with you too. Thank you for the super chat. Looney Tunes 9,000. Thank you so much for the super chat. Wanda consciously would be a great guest to discuss Black community issues with the left.
Love him.
He was in Detroit to canvas this week. Yes, we are friends. So I could probably hit him up and see.
But he's
amazing.
We are friends, so I'll probably hit him up and see if he can come on.
He's horrible at answering DMs, but I just signed on with his same management group, so I can reach out to my manager and be like,
Dang, you all have a management group? I don't have a manager.
No, I just signed on this week. I was managerless until literally yesterday.
Oh, is there any benefits to that, or is it like one of those YouTube manager things that like just take money from you and don't do anything?
I will let you know. We will see. I've heard good things, but
because I had an MCN, they were TYT actually, and they didn't really do much.
Yeah,
MCNs are terrible, but manager groups are pretty good. I'm under Phil's management group, and they're pretty good. They're good for getting like YouTube sponsorships and stuff like that. And
this conversation too rich for my blood. I ain't never had a manager in this whole situation, but thank you so much, Wanda. I'll definitely reach out to him.
I'll throw them your content, Rebecca. You make a really good content. So
okay,
all
right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. All right, Tigwick, love you, mean it. I honestly just love hearing your stories. Thank you so much. Right, thank you, and thank you for the super chat. Let's see. Cy Abelman, thank you so much. I grew up with a lot of Haitian friends in Boston. It's painful to hear how you guys are being treated these days. Always like hearing your point of view. I'm glad you're on this show, Rebecca. Speaking of being on the show, so I'll say stuff like, let me turn this up because I want you guys to hear it because it's, Ziggy, who is on the show Leftist Mafia?
Leftist Mafia is a show with a diverse cast. Natalie Page Smith, Rosalia Bennett, and Evan Bokich are among the main cast members.
No.
The show seems to focus on complex relationships.
Ziggy, the podcast, The Leftist Mafia, is Rebecca Azor on that podcast?
Rebecca Azor is a host on the Leftist Mafia podcast.
It's just saying that now. I promise you. All right, Ziggy, stop. I'm gonna tell you because you saw how it pronounced your name, Mike Ferrero. But
I didn't even know it said my name. It butchered it so much. Oh, okay.
But no, because I asked it the other day. I was working out, and then I think something came up as a notification on my phone. I said I'll check it later, and then I was like, when I got home, I was like, let me ask Ziggy if it knows what's up. It said that Rebecca Azor is not on the podcast. It said Ariana is not on the podcast. I said, now I done been here for way too long for it not to recognize me. It said only Mike, David, Lance are on the show. And everybody, that's all it said. And then it said there's no information anywhere on the internet. And it must have been because I asked that it updated that because and I was like, let me get on them when I get on the show on Thursday. But yeah, now it's acting right. So you guys are in the clear. Okay,
that's weird. I wonder what it's pulling from.
Yeah, like it said no. So I asked it that, and it said it was pulling from the YouTube page that did not mention my name.
Oh, it's so at least on my channel, in every single description, it has all of our names and all of our YouTube. So you would think that it would pull from like a description or something like that.
It said that Rebecca is she's on another show, and I said all the other things, right? But it said not on that one.
That's so disrespectful.
She's been on. AIs. It said she's been on as a guest.
What?
My oh my! Today is just full of good news. Asmongold has been banned on Twitch.
Really? Is it a permanent ban or?
Probably why banned?
Because he said some pretty racist shit.
He said something like immigrant kids should be shot or something of that nature.
Yeah, he said that. Yeah.
He's.
I don't know who this is, basically. But whoa.
You don't want to know, Rebecca. It's a whole rabbit hole of a very stinky Nazi. It's terrible.
All right, let's move on.
Ignorance is bliss. For anyone in the chat who does not know, ignorance is bliss. I can assure you, do not look up.
Ugh. Angela, thank you so much for your super chat, Mama. There is no such thing as a single issue struggle because we do not live single issue lives. 100%. Audrey Lord. Thank you so much for your super chat, Angela. V-Man 29397. Thank you for your super chat. I feel you, Rebecca. White liberals treat us Puerto Ricans like a political prize talking about status debate. Okay, not a single voice about any of the colonial abuses or the current economic exploitation of. You would never hear that. You would never hear how they got you as American territory, but when it comes to y'all issues, they throw in toilet paper or paper towels at y'all. You know, in your struggles. You know what I mean? Like they don't treat you guys. I definitely understand. So yeah, it's a fool. My name is spelled with 2 C's, not 2 B's, but I know you Puerto Rican, so it's probably the Hispanic way. So we're going to let it slide. Okay. Old Man Philly, thank you so much for your super chat. Thanks for all the truth tonight. It's great to see you in your real house. Oh, love you, mean it. Thank you so much. A V-Man came back. Okay. And this one was good. Nobody talks about how my grandparents were forced to learn English in school or how my grandpa couldn't own his flag as a boy. That's crazy. Or how the U.S. bombed 2 towns to rubble during clashes with independentistas. Now, of course, they're never going to want to put that. You see what Donald Trump is doing now? Removing. Now, this is what they've always done in history, right? Remove actual history about what they've done and those type of things. This administration is really doing a great job at that right now. I hate to say that, but they are removing all of the things that call, or most of the things right now that call out their racism. You know, that has always been a thing that has been historically done, but they are in there removing names, redacting, adding BS to history to make white folks look like they were, helpful in the abolitionist movements and all that kind of stuff. Like all white folks were helpful in helping Black folks transition from slaves into regular folks in the world. That's what they want to say. So definitely, I understand. They don't want to.
Didn't you know that like the Civil War was over states' rights, and that's
absolutely
it. That's it. Don't ask any more questions. It was
the Civil War was just a weird poker game that went wrong. It had nothing to do with the economy. Yeah.
Disgusting. Like Jacqueline, thank you so much for your super chat, Mama. And the worst is European descendants. Speak on it. Faking reality to pretend that they are not complicit in genocide of the First Nations and that it's not ongoing. They never want to discuss it, honey. They never want to talk about, like right now, right? During FIFA. A lot of people were some messy haters, right? All the things, but it did have the conversation around Argentina and their history. And people were getting upset because we started to talk about where the Black folks went in Argentina. And it started uncovering some really uncomfortable truths that they didn't want to talk about, how they basically made them all disappear, right, in one way or another. And they got so mad that people started pulling those historical facts, but you will never know because Argentina is one of the places that removed what they've done out of their history. So it's something that you can't really trace in Argentina right now and those type of things. So yeah, I definitely understand. So, but yeah, thank you guys for the super chats. I love you guys so much. Y'all really looked out on today. Mean it. I will see you next Thursday. And it was so nice having you here, Zaid. It was nice being a part of the conversation. I love when you're on. I love to see your face. I love your conversation. And I know you talk so much, but it's good. We like it because you have a lot to say, right? I love your content. All right, y'all.
That means a lot.
All right, y'all. I love you. Mean it. Bye, guys.
Have a good day at work, Rebecca. It's nice seeing you.
Thank you.
You take care.
I had to go, but I also got to dip out. I got to feed my cats and run them around and everything like that.
That's okay. But you have fun. You enjoy your
I will.
sir.
I will. I always have a good time on here. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate you, Mike. Appreciate you, Ariana. Thank you so much for the conversation, and thank you for having me on, guys. I really
happy to have you. You have a wonderful weekend, and take care.
Yeah, you too, guys. Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.
I feel bad leaving you alone, Mike, with chat. So
how dare you? How dare you? They're gonna attack me as soon as you leave. They're going to rip me to shreds, Ariana. And I don't know how to take it.
No, it's okay. I promise.
I'm not afraid of them. I'm not afraid of these little motherfuckers. They're not going to do shit. Right, chat? They love me.
There you go. Yes. No. I just feel bad because usually it's you and Matt.
Oh, that's okay. There's not too much tonight, so you don't have to feel bad about leaving because we'll be through these pretty quickly. Can you tell me your first one that I can pull up though?
Nintendo Gaming, member for 10 months.
Wood Maga? Oh, the member for 10 months. Okay, let me see. Member for 10 months. Oh, here we go. Okay.
Right, I'm gonna go through these quick. I'm so tired.
Yeah.
All right, Leftist Mafia. What is your favorite CW TV shows? I don't know what CW means.
Oh, CW is a network. I honestly can't answer this question because before it was the CW, it was something else. And I never really watched a ton of CW, or maybe I did, but I'm not able to answer the question because I can't really remember what specifically was on the CW.
Well, I don't know what CW is, but I will tell you I have 2 all-time favorite shows, 90 Day Fiancé and The Office. You can talk to me about
The Office is a banger.
Yeah, you can talk to me about any 90 Day Fiancé character. I will know them. You can tell me about any episode of The Office. I will more than likely have it completely memorized scene by scene. So I hope that answers your question. It doesn't, but
love that.
It's an answer.
I love
Thank
The
you so
Office.
much for being a 10-month member. I do too.
Okay, people saying it's WBUPN. This was before your time, so I was pretty young when this was on, so you're not gonna remember it. Okay, who's next?
Nintendo Gaming Channel, thank you so much for the $6.99. I Greece this year. I spot peacefully protesting Israeli soldiers, colonizers. You're not welcome. Hopefully, another regarding for Iran. It's funny. Israelis have been getting their asses beat across multitudes of countries. When I was in Brazil for Carnival, there was a group of Israelis standing in front of us, and anyone they would speak to, they had like an accent. And this happened in front of us, like play by play. Someone would be like, "Oh, your accent, where are you from?" And they'd be like, "Israel," and they like everyone would just like be disgust, like look at them in pure disgust and walk away. This happened with at least 5 different people.
No
and I was
shit.
like, "Damn, y'all are not liked." And then they tried to talk to me, and I was like, "Stay the fuck away from me. I'm not the one." But usually they see like my Farsi necklace and they see like my tattoos and stuff, and they usually like they know not to.
It's repellent.
Yeah, they know not to come up to me.
That's good. That's smart. That's good that you have that.
Yeah, I'm like painfully.
Everybody get Farsi if you want to stop.
Yeah, no, seriously. I was at a rave, and this group of Israelis stood right by us, and they were speaking in Hebrew, and me and my friend started texting, and I was like, "Yo, they're Israelis," and she was like, "Shit, what should we do?" And I was like, "No, I kind of want to sit here and see what happens." And one of them came up to us, mind you, there was room across the bench for them to sit on, and he was like, "Can you move? I want to sit by my friend." And I was like, "There's like hella room back there, dude." And he was like, "No, I want to sit here." And I was like, "No." So then me and him started going back and forth, and he was like, "It's not, I want to sit by my friend." I was like, no, I'm not going to move. So then my friend was like, "All right, it's not that big of a deal. We'll move a little bit this way so he can be near his friend." So I was like, "All right, fine." So I moved, and then I looked at him. I was like, "Where are you from?" And he was like, "I'm from the world."
I'm from the world. Oh my
I was
god.
like, that is the most Israeli answer. But he was too like. People around us started listening in because they could hear like the tension. Like we started yelling at each other, and then they could hear. And then I was like, "No, where are you from? Tell me where you're from. What language are you speaking?" And he was like, "I'm from the world. I'm from the world. I'm from the world." And I got up and I was like,
That's
"He's
so
fucking
weird.
Israeli." And I walked away because everyone was listening. And I'm like, "Dude, if you're..." Yeah, sorry.
Besides Americans and Israelis, is there any other country that somebody's from that would get this reaction? I feel like it's just Americans and Israelis.
No, it's just literally Americans and Israelis, and to be honest, we both deserve it. Like,
oh, for sure, 100%. Yeah, it's why I think there's this like meme of Americans saying they're Canadian when they travel abroad, because like
I started doing that in Brazil because you could tell like. I don't want to speak for all Brazilians, but the interactions would get very awkward when you would say you're from America. I will say. So I was like,
"Oh, I bet."
Let me just say I'm from Canada.
I'm a Canadian, eh?
Yeah. Abdul.
Yep.
Sorry.
That's all we know, Canada. I'm so sorry, but
sorry.
Yeah, we have Canadian friends. We're not anti-Canadian.
Yeah, we're not anti-Canadian. We love our.
We like to LARP as you and steal your identity and appropriate your culture, so that way people don't know we're Americans. Not that I've traveled and have done this, but I would if I did.
Yes, because you're notoriously scared of planes. Oh man. Looney Tunes, thank you so much for the $1.99. Charlie Hatcher could have even host a podcast. Couldn't even host a podcast. I don't know who that is.
That's that farmer that defeated Andy Ogles.
Oh, okay. Yeah, true.
Well, he doesn't have to now.
Yeah, he doesn't have to now. That's very true. Joseph Carr, thank you so much for the becoming a member. I appreciate you. Kowalski, hello. Don't trust farmers outside of the Midwest unless they have expressed clearly good political views. Actually, don't trust Midwest farmers too. They lie. One thing about Kowalski, he has a very big disdain for horse girls as well. So,
what is a horse girl?
A woman who loves horses, which is apparently a very big thing in Nebraska. I did not know.
Oh, I did not know about this genre of human being.
Yes, it's a genre, and he does not like them.
He doesn't like horse girls. I love how my brain is so fucking rotten that the second you said that, I immediately thought somebody that likes to LARP as a horse and has like a fucking horse ponytail that they wear or something. Oh my god, my brain is so
like a furry? No. This is
like a furry. That's where my.
This is literally women who own horses and like to ride horses, which apparently is a very big Midwest thing. I didn't grow up with this, so I didn't know. And so he was like, "Yeah, never trust a horse girl. Like she'll always pick her horse before you." And it's like something he's very passionate about. So. Sorry, Kowalski. I know I'm out of you, but I think
we need to hear more from about this from Kowalski next time he comes on, because I'm very fascinated by horse girls.
It's truly fascinating.
Because I didn't know anything about that. I have no impression of people who owns horses aside from they're probably more wealthy.
He's in the chat. He's in the chat saying no one should trust the equestrian women.
Kowalski, would you apply that same scrutiny to bronies, male fans, or adult fans of My Little Pony? Or is it just equestrian women?
That's crazy. All right, I'm moving on in the group chat, in the super chats until you
okay.
V-Man, thank you so much for the $5. What do you guys think of Kyle Kalinske take that loses like Michigan Senate primary, might make AIPAC retreat from Dem primaries and just go for GOP? I think that I don't agree. I think that I think AIPAC will fund anything that will push their messaging. I think they might invest more in Republicans, but I don't think that's going to push them away from Democrats, because there's still many Democrats, especially in rural areas, who have swing voters that, or like areas like New York District 12, which is very heavily Jewish Zionist, right? Also, V-Man is from Puerto Rico. I'm praying for your people. I know that they're about to go through some massive water shutoffs this next week. So I hope they're doing okay and all your family has access to water. Cartoon, thank you so much for the $10. Thoughts on Sophie Cunningham, comments on trans people in sports, as well as her taking a photo with Riley Gaines, leading her to be MAGA Barbie, yet she is in the WNBA where 1/4 of the players are queer. I honestly don't know much about Sophie Cunningham, to be honest. I
don't know either. Yeah. I know that Riley Gaines was complaining about getting booed. I don't know if she was talking, if that's directly related to the Sophie Cunningham situation, but yeah.
I don't know much about your story, but I believe it. I believe that a NBA player would do that, to be honest with you. Thank you so much for the donation. Ryan Chan, thank you so much for the $10. I think TSA needs to do a better job relationship with Black community. I agree. It's also annoying seeing establishment Democrats do awful outreach. Haley Stevens telling Black voters she knows Obama, and that passes. Yeah, I was honestly very surprised when the Black Caucus endorsed Haley Stevens. I was like, no, I'm sorry. I can't fuck with this. I think, again, that's one of those things where they were trying to damage control, right? Like, they were trying to, like, I don't know, maybe, like, make sure that the safest candidate would win. I don't really know what the logic was there. I know that a lot of the older generation Black voters tend to lean more centrist as well. So I don't really know. I'm not
you're right. It's the same dynamic with like just white voters. It's a generational thing. One thing I will say about the Congressional Black Caucus in particular is that they are very pro-establishment, like to a crazy degree. There's an article, I don't know if it's in Axios or Politico, one of them, but they're considering not letting Daria Lisa into the CBC unless she pledges to support Hakeem Jeffries. And like she's trying to hold out so she can have some leverage to get like a good committee position or at least something, or maybe see if there's a better option. But they're like saying you have to support him or we're not going to let you into the CBC, which is fucking crazy. But, you know, that's what was it?
Yeah, no, also the CBC has a lot of power within Congress, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, it sucks. It really fucking sucks, but like, it is what it is. I don't know. I mean, it's gonna have to be a generational shift with the CBC. I know creators that work a lot with the CBC, and they went against the CBC and they endorsed Abdul al-Sayed. So I really think it's a generational shift where the older generation that more than likely does most of the endorsements for the caucus is like older generation, more centrist Dem. And then the younger generation coming in is more progressive Dem. So we'll just kind of have to see how that weighs out. But like, not a fan of how they move there, to be honest with you. Then again, I'm not Black, so it's not really for me to say. Ryan Chan, thank you so much for the $2. Anyone see Chris Rabb troll Sean Scotty Hannity? I haven't seen that, but we can watch it next time. Oh, was it good?
Yeah, it was good. He's just like, oh, thank you for having me, Scott. And he's like, I'm not Scott, I'm Sean.
Oh, okay. I'm like, okay, dude.
Yeah, it was just like a funny little moment.
Nintendo, thank you so much for $2.79. U.S. block of Cuba reminds me of Naboo in episode 1. Not sure what you're talking about, but I believe it. Do you know what he's talking about?
Oh, Star Wars, yeah. Naboo.
Okay. Naboo. Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to check it out. Old Man in Philly, thank you so much for the $10. Calling out blind spots is essential. I know when mine get called out, I try to use it as an opportunity. Yeah, I mean, it's not like us calling out blind spots is not to be like you are a terrible person. It's more so like our voices have literally never been heard until now. So like, please listen, right? That's really all it comes down to. Thank you so much for the $10.
Exactly.
Takeaway. Yeah, Takeaway, thank you so much for the Canada 25. Love an episode where you and Rebecca tell your stories. I appreciate it. Honestly, I do love it when Rebecca is on, but I mean, everyone on the pod is great, right? And also, when we disagree, it makes the pod interesting. So, thank you so much for the $25. Kowalski, as an ally of both races and all genders and the race and the gays, I'm willing to admit I possibly have blind spots, but I'll work on it. Yes, his blind spots are horse girls.
Yeah, you need to understand where they're coming from, Kowalski, first.
I'm joking.
You understand the gays. I could say that. You know us, but equestrian women, Kowalski, do better.
The traitor. I'm just kidding. Angela, thank you so much for the $13.99. MR was guilty of this perspective issue. That's Majority Report. I was also very disappointed with the reaction to the NYT article. It was crap, but what happened to believing women? Is it only a politically expedient? What New York Times article is she talking about?
I don't know. I haven't seen the reaction to a particular NY Times article recently.
Yeah, I haven't either. I don't want to speak on something I haven't seen.
Yeah, I don't want to say because it's MR, so I want to be graceful to them. Yeah, I just can't. I don't know what this is in reference to, unless it's the
just
Plattner thing because we brought up Plattner. I'm not really sure.
I mean, I will say though, I do wish that Majority Report would have more people of color on their stuff. I do wish they had more people of color contributors. Maybe they have more. I haven't seen them, but
they bring on a lot of guests from all different backgrounds and whatnot with different perspectives, which is actually really cool.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, you know, there's always room for improvement for sure.
I just feel like there's room for like one like regular person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Blue Witch, thank you so much for the $1.49. I really appreciate it. And your kind words. See, Willet, thank you so much for the $20. I appreciate it. So glad to see you and Rebecca on tonight. Your POV is unique and important. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Also, thank you so much for all the supers, guys. I have to get my wisdom teeth pulled this month and my insurance.
Oh no.
My insurance. I have insurance coverage. Guess.
Oh, I was gonna say they're not covering it.
No, they are, but it's kind of a joke.
Yeah, I decided that I'm never ever getting dental insurance again because they don't pay for fucking
they don't pay
anything.
for shit. I have to pay for $3,000 out of pocket, and I'm like, what is the point of me having dental insurance if I'm paying $3,000 out of pocket?
Yeah, I had to get a crown last year, and I don't think they covered anything, nothing. So I paid like $2,000 out of pocket or something it was something crazy. Yeah. It's like, well, why pay the monthly payment? I could just put that towards the direct payment to the dentist. It makes no sense.
I mean, I have friends that literally fly to Mexico City, do a whole vacation there,
smart,
and get their dental work done, and it comes out to less than $2,000. So
and
it's
they get a vacation. That's smart.
Yeah, and you get a vacation out of it. I have other friends that do it with Turkey too, although Turkey is a little far. But if you want to do it like closer, you go to Mexico City or like Tijuana.
I may need to go to Turkey eventually to get a hair transplant. I hear that's all the rage there. They're like the experts. So
they do a really good job at it. You just have to make sure you go to somewhere that's like good, like has reviews and stuff like that.
I feel like I don't need that for a while. I think I'm okay for now. But like one day maybe I'll do a dentist and a hair appointment at the same time in Turkey. We'll knock those suckers out, kill two birds with one stone.
Maybe throw some skincare in there too while you're. I don't know. If I ever go to Turkey, maybe I'm stalking. I'm gonna look beat the fuck up. I'm gonna be layering lasers, fucking everything.
And I'll gain like 35 pounds because Turkish food is so goddamn delicious.
Cheap. It's cheap for us because of the conversion rate.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The
Okay.
conversion rate is really good, especially in Mexico too. So I went to Mexico City. Granted, this was like 3 years ago, so I'm sure it's gotten a little bit more expensive. But I went to Mexico City. My flight, my 1 week stay for a 2-bedroom and 2-bath Airbnb that I paid for fully, because me and my friend went, and I was like, I'm gonna treat you. The whole entire week eating at the best places. That trip cost me less than $1,000.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's insane.
It was like $700.
Wow.
Yeah. Airbnb was like $400. Mind you, if I just wanted to do a 1 bed, 1 bath, I could have probably done it for like $500.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Maybe I do need to travel. Another excuse besides the fear of flying was that it's just a lot of money, but like goddamn. Okay.
Bro, pop a Xanax and get on that fucking plane. Like,
that is one thing that is kind of enticing me. I really, I tried to like subtly suggest to my doctor that I need something stronger, and he gave me hydroxyzine, and it's like, I want Zaid. So maybe like with the plane, I'm like, could I have some extra just to test beforehand?
You know what? I'll text you. I'll text you.
Okay.
I had to go through hoops because they tried to prescribe me a bunch of shit, and I was like, listen to me, when that turbulence hits, none of this shit you're giving me is fucking working.
Well, I feel like if I actually went on a plane, they probably would give it to me, but they're just trying to give me stuff to work through panic attacks, which I already have beta blockers and stuff like that. But it's like, if I'm going to get on a plane, I need to be not sober. Like, I need to be so zanned out that I am fucking seeing stars, basically. So,
yeah, they'll do it.
Okay, well, I will get those Zans if I go on a trip.
Yeah, you
hopefully
honestly
sometime soon.
You should go to a trip with your hubby or your partner.
I want to. Yeah.
Yeah, do it. You guys deserve it. All right, 2 more. Omega Shenron, thank you so much for the $5. Hi, Ari, everyone. Who did endorsement with the rap lyric that you mentioned earlier? Who dropped the DSA?
Oh, I was talking about William Lawrence. I don't know about the endorsement with the rap lyric. I remember you guys talking about that, but I don't remember who it was though, so I can't speak to that.
V-Man, thank you so much for the $5. That's what happens when the water infrastructure is so poorly maintained. It results in 40% of portable water loss in the transfer process. It's so sad because people at the resorts get full access to water too. It's just sick, and then the Puerto Ricans suffer. Thank you so much for the $5. Nintendo Gaming 279. Thank you so much, Ariana. You remind me of Padme. Who's Padme?
Oh, Padme from Star Wars Episode 1.
Is that a good
They're
thing?
Just yeah. She was married to Anakin before he became Darth Vader.
So that's a good
They're
thing?
just trying to drop these references on you for pop culture things that you don't get.
Nintendo?
So that way, like, oh, you remind me of Padme, and then you have to figure out who that is and see if that's an insult or a compliment.
One thing Nintendo will do is keep me on my fucking toes, bro. Like every
They do keep us on our toes. Me too.
stream.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Natalie Portman, yeah, that's the actress who plays Padme.
Okay.
I would view that as a compliment.
Well, we look nothing alike, but thank you, I guess. All right, chat. I love you guys so much. I'm so sorry, Mike. I would have stayed here, but I'm hot and I'm tired.
That's okay. That's okay. You know what I'm gonna do when you leave? I'm gonna go get water, but I'm gonna play the Mitch McConnell memorial video for them, so that way they're entertained.
You are obsessed with that, dude.
I mean, I don't have like a commercial break thing to cut to, so I'll play that for them while I refill my water cup, and they're gonna love it. You all will love it, right, chat?
Yeah, they'll all love it. They'll all love it. I'll vouch for them. All right. I love you, Mike. I love you, chat.
You take care. It was nice talking to you. I'll see you next week.
Nice talking to you too. Sounds good. Bye.
All right, folks. I'm going to go get water, but I will leave you with a reminder of someone we might have lost.
Former President Obama left so many vacancies and didn't try to fill those positions.
I'll tell you why. I was in charge of the of what we did the last 2 years of the Obama administration.
I will give you full credit for that. And by the way, take a bow. All right, that was a good line.
Welcome to hell, motherfucker!
I hope you all enjoyed that. I took a lot of time on it. Took me like 25 minutes, and we've watched it now like 14 times on the podcast. So I hope that you all like it. All right, I have some super chats. There's quite a bit, but not too much. I think we'll be out of here relatively soon. Nintendo Gaming Channel member for 18 months. Thank you so much. If we made first contact with aliens, how would humans, especially U.S. Republicans like Trump, react? They would try to bomb them immediately. And I would hope that those aliens would not retaliate. Hopefully they're much more wise and intelligent than us. Otherwise, if they're hostile, we're fucked, because if they're able to reach us, then they have superior technology. But I mean, we know how they would act. They would immediately try to fuck with them, imprison them, murder them, because that's what they do. Canadian Goose, thank you for the 20 Canadian, very generous of you. Good evening, gang. Mike, I wanted to add some more context to your video today, specifically on Hamas's founding. Israel supported Ahmad Yassin's Palestinian chapter of the Muslim Brotherhood and continued support through Hamas's founding, using them as a rival to the PLO at the time, so Palestinians would fight amongst each other. Their support officially ended when Hamas first attacked Israel sometime after the first Intifada. Yeah. Thank you for that context. I'm really glad that you shared that, because that's a really important part of the story. It's easy for people who defend Israel to scapegoat Hamas for literally everything, but Israel, like, there's a reason why people talked about how Netanyahu funded Hamas. It was because they needed them as an excuse to do whatever they wanted to the Palestinian people. So thank you for sharing that, and thank you so much for the generous super chats, Canadian Goose. Really appreciate your input here. Dieter McBusiness, thank you so much for the 40-month membership. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well, Dieter. Nintendo Gaming Channel, thank you for the $6.99. Would MAGA-controlled White House actions lead to multiple alien species? Oh my God, another alien question. Multiple alien species going to war with humans due to 80 million Peter Griffin voters. We're really getting deep into this hypothetical. Would MAGA-controlled White House actions lead to multiple alien species going to war with humans due to 80 million Peter Griffin voters? Probably. Foresto, thank you for the 5. My father-in-law is an aspiring actor, and he recently did a music video with Jelly Roll. No shit. And was bragging. I had to explain that he's a MAGA rapper. Oh, no. Canadian Goose, thank you for the 10. On a more cheerful note, so glad DSA is making waves down south, getting me inspired to try and be more politically active, even if I'm going to school simultaneously. Hey, that's awesome. You do what you can, right? If you're in school, I understand that you do not have a life. School is your life. So you did what you can. And I'm glad that you feel inspired, though. Cartoon member for 84 months. My goodness. Thank you so much. Thoughts on the Paramount WB merger being on hold until next year because of the lawsuit? Do you think it will have a good chance to stop it? It's hard to say. I think this is probably a question that the boys over at the Vanguard are more qualified to ask. I hope so. I really hope so. I'm remaining cautiously optimistic, but it's really hard to say. You know, we live in a fascist country where all they have to do is grease the wheels of the Trump regime and they might get what they want. So, I mean, I hope that this sticks. I hope it doesn't go through. It'd be terrible if it went through, but, you know, we'll see. It's so hard for me to make a prediction either way. Nintendo Gaming Channel, thank you for the super chat. Mike, can you separate art, Harry Potter, Smallville, Flash, Aquaman from author JK/actress Allison Muck, actor Ezra Miller, Amber Heard, or if you refuse to? I don't necessarily think it's wrong if you are able to separate the art from the artist, so long as you're not like contributing to them, or if you can avoid contributing to them. Like if you already own the Harry Potter DVDs and you watch them, you're not giving J.K. Rowling any additional money. Not a big deal. I personally have a really hard time separating the art from the artist. I can't watch Harry Potter. I can't get past the transphobia. I have trans family members, and it's going to kill the experience. I can't listen to Kanye West. Just knowing that he's a Nazi. Well, I don't know if he is anymore. I think he said he's not, but, you know, he might change his mind. But, like, I can't listen to him. It killed it for me. So I really struggle to separate the art from the artist. But I think it depends. It depends on what they did and whether or not what they did is forgivable, or if they've gone out of their way to try to make up for the damage that they caused. But, you know, I don't begrudge anyone who is able to enjoy things by separating the art from the artist. For me, it's tough, man. It's tough because we do need these escapes from reality. Cartoon. Saw the new Spider-Man film and truly enjoyed it. I did too. I thought it was great. I mean, it wasn't like the best movie ever. Probably not my favorite Spider-Man. Still very solid movie. I liked it a lot. Cartoon says, thoughts on Daria Liza. Entry into the Black Caucus isn't a guarantee, and one of the reasons is not supporting Hakeem Jeffries. I just talked about that. Shit, I wish I saw your super chat. I would have waited to say that. But yeah, I think that she absolutely needs to be included in the CBC. Not really my position. You know, I can't speak on an issue like this. But, you know, even though this is an inter-community issue, I would hope, generally speaking, that any group that is older would be open to the next generation, just broadly speaking. That's what I would hope. But yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for Daria Liza. I think she is going to be fucking amazing. If anything, you know, that we've seen from her is an indication of how she's gonna govern. So yeah, I'm rooting for her, and that's all I'll say. Bayphoto says, Ronna McDaniel said on Fox, many Republicans cross-voted for Stevens. Oh, okay, so there is a little bit more to that particular theory. Have to believe impact would be small, though, without a significant push, like uncommitted. Yeah, I think you're on the money. I agree with you, Bayphoto. That makes a lot of sense. It wasn't significant, but I think it was enough to make her overperform the polls. Ant Smasher Jack, thanks for the 5. I talked with Mitch McConnell for 20 minutes. Did you now? But then the seance was cut short when one of the candles was knocked down for some mysterious reason. Okay, interesting. Interesting. See, that's more believable than the conversation that Scott Jennings had with Mitch McConnell. V-Man says, hey, Mike, I sent you the email, didn't get a reply. Okay, I actually looked, V-Man, and I didn't see your email, so that tells me that your email is in my junk inbox. I don't know why this happens, but a lot of regular emails that are not spam go into my spam folder, and I end up missing it. I will check my junk folder. I'm sure it's there. Thank you for emailing me, V-Man. I appreciate that. Ryan Chan, thanks for the 5. Did you hear about Gillibrand pushing for Haley Stevens to be DCCC endorsed by lying to donors that Mallory McMorrow was a secret DSA member? I did not hear about that, but that is crazy. You know, it's really weird that they are so against Mallory McMorrow when she is, like, she's one of them. And I think that, I don't know if it was Kyle or David Doel who made this point. One of them made the point that they would have had a better chance possibly at defeating Abdul if they opted for Mallory McMorrow, just because she's kind of like the in-between between the left and the establishment wing. But they opted for the most extreme option in the center, and it kind of backfired. Tigwick Plays Games, thank you for the 20 Canadian. Very generous of you, Tigwick. Thank you. I noticed a lot of other folks spoke with Mitch via Seance tonight, and now I understand why he cut mine short. Busy guy. So we're all having conversations with Mitch. Man, maybe I should get a Ouija board. I should try to talk to Mitch if that's how you can get a hold of him. Interesting. Stevens, thank you for the $5. MI Media was pushing the Glenn Gareth Rogers plus 10 pull hard the week of the election. Last minute electability fears definitely got voters out for Stevens here. I believe it. You know what? Electability is a very powerful argument, which is why the establishment uses it so much, because beating voters over the head with Republicans and how scary they are, it works. It is a useful strategy, love it or hate it. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That's probably... that partially explains, I'm assuming, her overperformance. Not really Rachel Atwood, thank you for the $2. Mongolian Muslims, does he mean Kazakhs? Uyghurs? Yeah, I don't know. The shit that Republicans come up with is honestly fucking... it defies logic and reason. Looney Tunes, thank you for the $2. Your Southern accent is spot on. Really? Well, thank you so much. I am trying to work on it, but it's hard because I don't know anybody from the South. So it's all just based on stereotypes. So I'm kind of like, it's derivative, but I'm glad to know that it's good. It's modeled after Lindsey Graham, but, you know, tweaked a little bit. Less gay than Lindsey Graham's, I'd like to think. But I don't know. It's hard to perceive how I sound, but I appreciate you complimenting my Southern accent. I really do. Not another one. Thank you for the $2. Paul Gosar did that CGI attack on Titan's AOC shit. Oh, it was Paul Gosar. Okay, thank you. I mix up all of these fascists. Paul Gosar. Okay. Thank you for jogging my memory there. Not really Rachel Atwood. Thank you for the $2. Hate that I have to vote for Healy over MAGA Mike. Yeah, I mean, electoral politics is a motherfucker, but just remember, you know, voting is a tool. It's not the end-all be-all to politics. It's just something that, you know, you have to do. It's not a professing of all of your values. So, you know, don't beat yourself up or throw up too much because of it. But I feel your pain. Ryan Chan, thanks for the 5. I'm so glad Donovan McKinney beat Shri Tanadar. Shri was lazy and odd. He took a picture of himself eating KFC for a black outrage. Did he do that? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that's so embarrassing. There's also, he did an ad where he's like, how deep are the potholes in Michigan? And he just drops a quarter. He just drops a quarter in the pothole. And then that's the ad. I shit you not. And I don't understand what this is supposed to prove. Yes, potholes are bad. But what is dropping a fucking quarter in the pothole gonna say? Do you not have any other policies that you might have wanted to fit into that, like, 15-second ad? Yeah, and he renounced the DSA after the October 10th rally in 2023 when he said DSA was being pro-Hamas. Remember the rally everybody was freaking out about? And the dude is just performative. He kept introducing legislation to impeach Trump, which is good, but it would go nowhere, and he was trying to force votes on it just so we would have something to brag about. Just useless. So I'm really happy to see Donovan McKinney kick his ass to the curb, because now we have an actual leftist and not somebody who just tries to LARP as one or whatever the fuck Shri was doing. Because, yeah, like you said, he's a weird dude. Like, he almost gives me Eric Adams vibes in certain ways if you watch some of his ads. I did not see the Black Outreach attempt, though. If he actually did that, that is so fucking embarrassing and racist. Like, what the fuck? I don't understand some of these politicians, guys. Rachel Atwood, thank you for the $2. Gerrymandering is going to hurt Pearson in TN lots. Yeah, this is, so if I'm remembering correctly, the district that he's running in is a newly gerrymandered district. From what I understand, this is still a majority Democrat district, but it's the only one that they have. But I'll look into what you're saying, because, yeah, I'm rooting for Justin. Hopefully he is able to pull off a win despite the fuckery in gerrymandering. He kind of has to overperform in order to accommodate for all of the voter suppression that's taking place. Ryan Chan, thank you for the $5. Did you hear about the Black Caucus wanting to ban Daria Lisa from entering because she's not a backing Hakeem? Yeah, a lot of people brought that up. Yeah, I saw that. I wish I could remember which article published that. Kowalski, thank you for the $5. Feels good to see democracy on the offensive. We've been on defense since October 7th, but after Mamdani's win, it feels like NYC has given us confidence. I agree. It is nice to have a little bit of a, an extra pep in our step and some swagger and confidence, because, I mean, you all, if you watched me back in 2024 after the election, I was black-pilled as a motherfucker. I felt like I am done with electoral politics, and it's kind of bringing me back. So we'll see how long this lasts. But right now, I'm still riding high. Cautiously optimistic, nonetheless optimistic. Kowalski also says, M-I-N-E, Texas, M-E-W-I, Ohio. I don't know why I read the abbreviation and then said the whole state. I don't know why I did that, but whatever. It's getting late. My brain isn't working as well. Our battlegrounds now. Kansas will require the GOP to dump money to hold. Bernie planted seeds. Look at what has sprouted. That's a beautiful way to put it. Yeah, it really is the case that the movement isn't going to die with Bernie Sanders. And that was my fear in 2016, that if we don't do this now, then this is it. There's no other progressive like him. And now there's an entire movement of Bernie-crats. And it's a really nice to look back and see how far we've come, because we actually do have a reason to be optimistic now. Time's running out with regard to the climate crisis, but, politically speaking, we're doing better. Foresto, thank you for the $5. Important to also account for how successful the Dem Party has been at networking in the Black community. Progressive candidates have a huge handicap. Yeah, that's a really great point. Absolutely. Also, another thing that I think leftists need to learn how to do is they've got to go to places where they wouldn't traditionally go. They've got to go to Black churches. They really need to build long-term relationships with the community, because those relationships that a lot of Democratic Party politicians have established, they've paid off. And this was one thing that Bernie was really weak with in 2020 after a bad performance with Black voters in 2016. He really didn't do much to try to win over a lot of power brokers in the Democratic Party. I think that, it would have been hard for him to get the endorsement of Jim Clyburn over Joe Biden. But, sometimes it's as simple as forming a friendship so that way they don't endorse, or they're, or they're at least willing to lend a hand in some other ways. And unfortunately, that's just the part of politics. People are narcissistic. They like to be wined and dined. So it's not just about building inroads within the community. That's important. But if you want to be a politician, you need to make sure that you talk to people who actually have clout and let them know that, you want to be on board, form an alliance with them, support the legislation that they're trying to push, and maybe they'll have your back. Scratch my back, I scratch yours. It's that kind of traditional politics game, because that still does go a long way, especially with older politicians who, they would get things done with a handshake and shit like that. So, something to keep in mind. Nintendo Gaming Channel, member for 6 months. Thank you so much. I have a poll, Leftist Mafia. What do you do in Purge if real? A, go on holiday for that day. B, anti-purger. C, Robin Hood type purger. Or D, move? Well, I will let you all answer that question, A, B, C, or D. For me, I would go on a holiday that day because I would not want to purge anyone. But I'll let the chat answer. Old Man in Philly, thank you so much for the $10. Appreciate that. Tonight's conversation was all about power. You nailed it. Exactly. It was all about power. We can't just talk about power as a top-down thing. Power circulates. It's important to trace that circulation and look at how it is wielded in that model. Beautifully put, Old Man in Philly. That is precisely it. Really, really well said. Octowolf says, and thank you for the 5 Octo. As a white man, I want to say I love the black community. I am working on an education bill that will give everyone a fair shot and better opportunity. Very cool. Eric Poe Perick, thank you for the 10. Sorry, I fucked up your name. I think I got it right, though. Amy Action, the Dem governor candidate in Ohio, said she will keep boys out of girls' sports and that this is settled law. As a gay person, I don't know how I can vote for her, but hate Vivek, Sophie's choice. Oh, damn, that sucks. I don't know why Democrats are doing this shit. It's just fucking, it's so mealy-mouthed and just like cowardly for them to throw trans people under the bus. Yeah, it sucks. I'm sorry you have a shitty option, but I mean, listen, most of politics is us picking the lesser of two evils. It's always been that way, so, it's not necessarily different. It feels a little more bad, I guess, these days, since we actually have some good options, but maybe a better Democrat will come along. But yeah, I see why you're disappointed. That fucking sucks. Octowolf says, any Jonathans on the right are evil and make the good ones like me look bad. Yeah, Jonathans do better challenge. Chris Corcoran, thank you for the $2. That was the lamest Kang variant ever. Not Rachel Atwood. I knew a Russian oligarch with a dog called Pinochet. No shit. That's funny. You knew an oligarch? That's crazy. Octowolf says, I love all the victories tonight. Me too. Pretty solid night overall. Action F and Jackson, thank you for the $5. Not going to matter about CBC. The economy is going to pop. The war is going bad, and Trump won't be able to stop the pop. Watch Black Man Spy Pod. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Simi Dafinessa, thank you for the $10. Very kind of you. Is it just me, or are the Washington Dams complete sulfur? How the fuck was Internet Camp Perez in the top 2? I hope the chicken story makes her lose. So this individual, for those not in the know, is referring to Marie Glue-Sniffing Internment Camp Perez from Washington's, I think, 3rd district. And yeah, she made it in the top 2 with the Republican. She's the banana lady who talks about how she got rid of some dumb regulation that wouldn't let daycare workers peel bananas for kids. Turns out this was not actually a regulation. It's been debunked thoroughly. Still, she promoted this dumbass legislation. Just idiotic. But I have not heard of the chicken story. I will look into the chicken story because I am fascinated by this absolute fucking centrist freak show that is Marie Glue-Sniffing Internment Camp Perez. Like, what a fucking piece of work. The chicken story. All right, I'll look into that. If you haven't heard of the banana story, look into that. I covered her on the show. I don't remember what video I did. It wasn't like a standalone video with her. I brought her up in a different video. I think her name's on the thumbnail. Oh. It was in a video about like 12 Democrats who voted with Republicans. I don't remember the specifics of the video, but I do talk about the banana story in that video. So go watch that video if you want an introduction into Marie Glue-Sniffing Internment Camp Perez, because she is unhinged. And like the way that she promotes herself is like she's the biggest fucking genius ever. It's so crazy. Jeffro, thank you so much for the gifted 1,000 jewels GOAT trophy. Oh, you gifted 1,000 jewels. Okay. I don't know what that is. Is that a new YouTube like currency? Or maybe this wouldn't be from Twitch. I'm not sure. But either way, thank you for the gifted. Really appreciate that. GOAT trophy. Okay. YouTube might be doing something new that I'm just completely ignorant to. But thank you. Thank you for the support either way. Bells, thanks for the $5. Any thoughts on the EA buyout? Yeah, I mean, listen, just when I thought EA couldn't get any shittier, they get shittier. For those who don't know, EA is like one of the most evil gaming companies ever. They are notoriously greedy. They try to milk gamers for every single penny they can conceivably get. And now they were just bought out by Saudi Arabia. And the deal also includes Jared Kushner. And they took on a lot of debt for this particular deal and are already hinting at like layoffs. They didn't say that explicitly, but you know, the signs are there, the things that they're saying. It's going to get worse. EA is going to get worse somehow. So yeah, I hate the buyout. I absolutely hate the buyout. Creflo $50, thanks for the $5. Hey, Mike, do you think left orgs can do better when it comes to suburbs? I live in a New Jersey suburb, and we have poverty here that gets ignored. Sure, yeah, I think that's definitely a possibility. You can always improve outreach, and yeah, there is poverty in suburbs that should be addressed for sure. I wouldn't necessarily be the expert on that. I'm not an organizer, but you know, I think this might be something that you might want to bring up to your local DSA chapter if you think they're kind of missing an opportunity. Because hell yeah, I think that wherever you can reach people, you go for it. Checkmate, thank you for the $5. What would it take to build more DSA support in the Black community? I think just really making the effort to reach out and talk to them and understand their issues more and go into majority Black cities and spaces. Right now, DSA, it kind of seems like it's just more like, hey, everyone's welcome. We're open and you can join. But I don't necessarily know that the organization itself is trying to like recruit new members. So it might be a task that individual DSA members such as ourselves do to try to sign people up. But, you know, on one hand, you have to balance. Do you try to opt for recruitment of new DSA members, or do you put that energy towards candidates? Because you only have so many people and resources. So, you know, I think that it is an issue that needs to be addressed. A starting place for the left would be to, I think, get a little bit more savvy and really try to understand issues that affect Black voters specifically, and not like a catch-all, like, hey, all POCs, all Black and brown people, like really understand Black issues in particular. I think there's always been a blind spot on the left. You know, Bernie, 2016, 2020, leftists in general, and I include myself in that as well. There needs to be a broader effort to just really have an understanding of these specific ways that Black people are fucked over in every conceivable way in this capitalist system. You know, you don't have to just like pretend like it's all class or all race. You need to bring in both and really like grounding yourself in the community and trying to understand, reading literature from Black revolutionaries. Like it's a great way just individually you can try to bolster your knowledge. So I would highly encourage people to do that. Last but not least, in defense of the genre. Oh, so another one came in. In defense of the genre, thank you for the $5. Says, Mike, loved your video on Plattner. You ever get a chance to chat with Kyle about Plattner? Well, thank you so much. No, I have not talked to Kyle about Plattner. Although Kyle is a good friend, longtime friend. I think it's clear that him and I just don't see eye to eye on this particular issue, but I appreciate that Kyle is open-minded and we have a mutual respect for one another, because we've kind of butted heads before on certain things. And, you know, we hashed it out and tried to get the other to see the other's position. So in the event, like we were talking, I'm sure that, you know, we would have a respectful conversation about Graham Plattner in particular. But yeah, I haven't had the chance to talk to Kyle about Plattner. To be honest, I kind of like am ready to move on from Graham Plattner in general. I've kind of said my piece. So my recommendation is just to point people to my Graham Plattner video, where everybody just can watch that, and also my interview with Ole about Graham Plattner, because I kind of said my piece and feel like, you know, the best thing to do going forward is let people know my argument is out there, and I hope that they listen to it and could take some things away from it. If not, they're fine to disagree. But yeah, to answer your question, I haven't talked to Kyle in a while, but you know, we've always been on you know, good terms. So I always appreciate Kyle's work, even if we don't see eye to eye on this particular issue. Sage and Candle, thanks for the $5. Police collected my DNA yesterday after 52 years to identify my birth mother's remains, known as Birdie Jane Doe on OK, while 24 hours to process. That sounds like a very difficult 24 hours to process. Wow. I mean, it seems like, there's closure there, but, that doesn't necessarily mean that, like, hard feelings won't be conjured up by that. I just hope you're doing okay, because that's crazy. Sounds like you're going through it. Octowolf, thanks for the $5. Zoning and parking mandates, forced car dependency, freedom rings hollow when infrastructure denies Americans a real transit choice. Yeah, listen, I am one of those leftists who is in favor of walkable cities. I think that is a very good idea. I don't like that we're so dependent on cars. I think that sucks. Okay, last but not least here, CW Willett. Thank you so much for the $10. CW Willett says, Bernie 2020 was much more integrated with the black community than 2016. I do agree. I think he made a lot more inroads, and he got a little bit better. And the campaign itself was more open to constructive criticism. Still not enough. To be fair, like 4 years, that's not a lot, because it's hard to compete with these long-term relationships that the Democratic establishment had made with particular majority black cities. So that's hard to compete with. He made much better strides, still fell short. But I agree with your point overall for sure. Okay, last but not least, I've said that 3 times, but I think this one is a great note to end on here. Kowalski says, good luck and good night. Totally agree. Well, it's been a wonderful show. Thank you all so much for sticking with me. I really appreciate everybody watching. And I'll just say, like, subscribe, do all that shit. And I'll see you all next week. Take care, everybody.